What's up, everyone? What's up, champ? What's up, Dog Prophet? Thanks for the gifts. What's up, WG? What's up, Danny? Spam those likes, guys. Spam those likes. What's up, Dan? Hello?
Hello. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Um, so you're not a Christian?
Right.
Um, I know you probably get asked this a lot, but can I ask you what happened? Or
Uh,
I'm sorry. I'm actually. Let me retract. I'm just assuming you was a Christian at one point.
never like a real big Christian, but yeah, I used to believe in God. I used to believe in the Christian God, but I don't believe in any gods anymore.
Okay. Um. Um. Well, can I tell you how I know God's real?
Well, let me ask you this: when you know that God's real,
Now this is
do you,
objective.
do you have faith in God?
Absolutely. After the experience I had,
So why do you have faith that God is real if you know God is real?
because well, he I guess he requires it for the non-believer because I mean I know God's real.
Yeah, so if you know God's real, you don't have faith. You
Right.
know it.
I can understand why I don't have faith because I know God's real.
But
And
so you don't have faith in God.
um, if he needed me to, I would. You know,
Okay.
if he told me, Patricia, I need you to have faith in me. I'm like, God, I don't know why you need me to, but sure.
Well, do you disagree that your God supports the following?
Let's see all that. He sure doesn't.
Okay, so like in Leviticus when God told the Israelites they're allowed to go and get slaves and own them for life, and also in 1 Samuel 15:3 or Numbers 31 where God commands soldiers to go and capture little young virgin girls and keep them as brides. You're saying God doesn't support those things?
Um, well, you got to look at the context.
Okay,
Not
what's the context?
there is no context for that, but um, I'm actually just a big old
So
atheist.
are you saying that
I'm,
yes,
uh,
God?
I'm
Are you
sorry.
saying God does? Oh, hey, thank you for the crown. Appreciate it. Are you saying that yes, God does support those things now?
No, no, definitely not. Definitely.
Okay, so when God said to go, you can go and get slaves. You're saying that's not God supporting slavery
Um, let's see. Where does he say that at?
in Leviticus 25:44 through 46.
Do you have it on hand?
Yeah, it says this is God speaking to Moses and the Israelites. Okay,
Okay.
about your men and women slaves, you may get men and women slaves from the nations around you. Also, you may get children as slaves if they come from the families of the foreigners living in your land. These child slaves will belong to you. You may even pass your slaves on to your children after you die, so that they will belong to them. They will be your slaves forever. You can make slaves of these foreigners, but you must not be a cruel master over your own brothers, the Israelites.
Hey, I'm not gonna act like that's not weird. I'm not gonna deny it. That's weird as heck. You
Yeah,
know,
so Christianity, the Bible, they all support slavery.
they do. I,
Yes.
I'm not gonna sit like I'm not gonna sit here like some of these Christians do and act like that don't say what it says. I mean, it says it.
Do you agree with that? Do you agree with God?
Absolutely not. This is one instance where I would say, God, get a grip.
Okay. Okay, what about in Numbers 31:17 through 18 when God commands soldiers to go and capture little young virgin girls as brides?
Um,
Would you be like God, what the heck there too?
absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
and what about in 1 Samuel 15:3 when God commanded King Saul and his army to go and kill all the Amalekite babies and infants?
Um,
Would you also be like God, what the heck?
well, absolutely. And somebody in the comments just said, I'm definitely not a Christian. So what would I have to do to be a Christian? Would I have to justify these awful acts to be a Christian?
Well, see, you could just say the same thing to them. Like if they like anyone who points their finger at you and says you're not a true Christian, you can just point right back at them and say, no, you're not a true Christian.
Yeah, I mean, everybody likes to diagnose people with all this stuff. Well, everybody thinks they've got it all figured out, but they don't. And the people in the comments saying that I'm not a real Christian, you know,
I mean, you could just say that about them.
just like I told God, get a grip.
Yeah. But my question to you is like, why do you get down and worship this God? Like, why do you love this God? Why do you bow down and worship and praise and worship a God that does all
Um,
these awful things?
I actually think I'm deconstructing.
Oh, you're currently in the process of deconstructing right now.
Yeah, I just, as the days go on, I just don't know how much more I buy of it, how much
Yeah,
more I'm
I
convinced.
understand that. Yeah, I definitely understand that. My advice to you is to go follow like Leaving Faith or Deconstruction Zone Justin.
Okay,
Those are all really good people who could help you with that because I've never really like I never had to go through that process of deconstruction because I never was like a firm like true like big time believer. You know,
well, you're right,
I don't come from a religious background. I don't have like a religious family or anything.
right,
But I do recognize that it can be scary to go
right.
through that process because you might end up you could potentially lose your family members over deconstructing.
I really feel for those people. I mean, some people they're just so they're so into it and so indoctrinated that yeah, they're just people are ready to give up people for it, and they don't care because they'll always pick God. Um,
Yeah,
but I mean, I've been a believer for over 20 years, and people's I know if I deconstruct, people's going to say I wasn't a real Christian, but honey, you know,
I think that it's really admirable that what you're doing because you're being honest with yourself.
yeah,
You're taking a look at your beliefs and you're saying, do I truly believe this? Do I want to continue to go on pretending that I believe in it and acting like I'm not going to question any of this?
right,
And that takes a lot of courage, in my opinion, because
yeah.
you like actually critiquing your beliefs and critiquing what you think is true takes a lot of courage, actually.
Well, I appreciate it. I mean, it's weird because I mean, for over 20 years, my faith was absolutely unwavering. I can't put it into words. I'll admit, I've been a lukewarm Christian, and if heaven and hell's real, I believe I would have went to hell for just how lukewarm I am, based off of whatever God says and stuff in the Bible. So, but I still believed in God for all those years, and people's going to tell me I wasn't a real Christian. And when you're faced with
Yeah.
these questions of what you just faced me with, it's like, how can you not? How can you look at it any different? How could you not question it? Because let's say if humans who are supposed to be less moral than God did these things that God is doing, they're unspeakably beyond words horrible. But when God does it, there's supposedly some kind of divine motion in place, but you just can't make it make sense. You can't add it up logically. That's just, and that's the way I'm starting to look at things and all that.
Well, I wish you luck on
I
your
appreciate
your
it.
journey, and
I appreciate
if you have any questions, feel free to come back up here and ask me some questions, or like go follow. There's a huge like deconstruction community out there on TikTok that like would be way more better at helping you with that than I could. But
Okay. Well, I appreciate it and thank you for having me.
yeah, thank you. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Everyone, tap the screen, guys. Tap, tap, tap the screen. Spam those likes, guys. Share the live right now with a couple of friends if you can. Also, click the follow button, guys. I really appreciate all of you being here. Thanks for hanging out. And also, go follow my YouTube, guys. Please go subscribe to my YouTube. The link's in the bio, guys. All right, we're trying to get a guest up in here.
How you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Says that Christianity supports slavery, grape, and that word murder.
Correct.
Where does it support this?
So, as far as slavery goes, I would say in Exodus and Leviticus, God gives very specific rules and instructions to the Israelites on how to practice slavery. And as far as
Mhm.
graping, as far as graping, I would say Numbers 31, 17 through 18, God commands soldiers to go and
Wait,
capture.
okay, Numbers. Wait, let me look it up.
Numbers 31, 17 through 18, and also Deuteronomy
17,
Deuteronomy 21 as well.
Deuteronomy 21.
Yeah.
Okay, so it says, "Now therefore unalive every male among the little ones, and unalive every woman that had known a man by lying with him. But all the women children that have not known a man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves." Wow.
Yeah, and also in Deuteronomy 21, 10 through 14, God says like if you're in a battle and you see a woman that you think is beautiful, You can capture her and bring her into your home where she will cry for her dead family for a month before you go into her and make her your wife.
Wait, what verse? Deuteronomy 21.
Uh,
Just the
10
whole
through
thing.
4, 10 through
Oh,
14.
10 through 14.
Yeah.
When you go to war against your enemies, and the Lord your God gives them into your hand, and you take them captive, and you see among the captives a beautiful woman, and you desire to take her to be your wife, and you bring her home to your house, she shall shave her head and pare her nails. And she shall take off the clothes in which she was captured, and shall remain in your house, and lament her father and her mother a full month. After that you may go into her and be her husband, and she shall be your wife. But if you no longer delight in her, you shall let her go where she wants, but you shall not sell her for money, nor shall you treat her as a slave, since you humiliated her. Wow.
Yeah, so I would say that in both of those scenarios, none of this is consensual. In Numbers 31, they're not consensually going with these men; they're being captured as young virgin girls, and also in Deuteronomy here that you've just read, they're being captured, and so I
Okay.
would argue that that's grape.
Yeah, wow. So in 18 it says, but all the women's children. So is it like actual children, or is this the gender
Yeah,
as
it's
well?
it's it's women. Well, it depends on what translation you're reading, but all the boys are killed, and all the women
Well,
who have
let
had
me let me read with context, right? Let's start with Deuteronomy, Numbers 31, right?
oh,
If you
okay,
don't mind.
sure.
And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, Avenge the children of Israel from the Midianites. Afterward thou shalt be gathered unto thy people. And Moses, let me actually go to the NIV since KJV is like some different type of English.
Okay, give us the context for why these young virgin girls were captured.
Yeah, no problem.
And also, they captured 16,000 of them, and they gave 32 of them to God because God likes them young and virgin as well.
Wow, wow, okay. Well, no, I'm just trying to see because it's the first.
Well, this
The,
first time you've ever read these, so go study them. Okay, go study them, and
yeah,
maybe
so it
ask yourself why you worship this God that commands all these terrible things. Because after you read those verses, you literally were like, "Wow!" You were like, "Wow."
Hello,
Hello, how you doing?
good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So I was here, I think, yesterday, and you said you don't believe in Jesus.
I think I have no reason to believe that Jesus like did anything supernatural, but I don't have a problem with saying that. Yeah, maybe there was this guy named Jesus who was crucified. Yeah,
Well,
I
hold
can
on,
say
let me
that.
rephrase that. You think Jesus is not the son of, was not God in human form?
I don't believe in anything supernatural.
Okay, so it says in the Bible that Jesus is God's son, but it is God in human form.
Okay, do you disagree that with the following here?
Yes.
Okay, which one would you like to start with?
I mean, I find it like I just went and read the scripture like on my phone, and I just have a hard time. Like, I think you're taking it different ways than it actually is
What, where
said to
would you like
be.
to Where would you like to start?
Slavery.
Okay, so God supports slavery because in Leviticus, God told the Israelites they were allowed to go and get slaves
What
from
is
the
that?
foreign.
What does the verse say?
Leviticus 25, 44 through 46. About your men and women slaves, you may get men and women slaves from the nations around you. You may also get children as slaves if they come from the families of the foreigners living in your land. These child slaves will belong to you. You can even pass these slaves on to your children after you die, and they'll belong to them. They will be your slaves forever. You may make slaves of these foreigners, but you must not be a cruel master over your own brothers, the Israelites.
You said it was what? What was the chapter and verse? Is
Leviticus 25, 44 through 46. And if you swipe out of the app, we can't hear you, just so you know, Cade.
yeah, it's kind of sucks because I was gonna go over there, but
I just read it to you. Would you like me to read it to you again?
no, it's fine.
So yeah, so do you agree that that's God supporting slavery?
I mean, once again, this is not God speaking.
Yes,
Like
it is. This is God speaking to Moses.
these are these are different people like that write in the books.
This is God speak after the Israelites were slaves in Egypt. God sent Moses to free His chosen people, right? The Israelites.
Yep.
Moses led the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt, and they were wandering around in the desert. And God appeared to Moses at Mount Sinai and gave him all these instructions, rules, and regulations, including how to practice slavery.
I'd go off and look at it, but you kind of can't hear me. You probably move on to the next guest. So
I just read it to you.
I know, but I mean, I could read it to you.
God even says you're allowed to beat your slave with no punishment as long as the slave doesn't die. In Exodus 21, 20 to 21, God says anyone who beats their male or female slave with a rod must be punished if the slave dies, but they are not to be punished if the slave recovers after a day or two, since the slave is their property. So God does fully support owning people as property for life and beating them.
So why would he send him to go free the Israelites from slavery if he supports it?
Because the Israelites are his chosen people.
So they wouldn't have had a problem with it if they were slaves, though, right?
Who wouldn't have had a problem with what?
God.
God does not have a problem with his chosen people owning slaves for life. No.
No. I said so. God sent Moses to go free the Israelites from slavery. Why would he send somebody to free themselves of slavery if he supports it?
He doesn't support his chosen people as being slaves. The Israelites are God's chosen people. He freed them from
Chosen people of
slavery.
what?
Huh?
Chosen people of what?
The Israelites, the Hebrews are God's chosen people in the Bible. Like the Israelites are God's people. And
We're
they
all
were
God's
they were
people.
well, no, not according to the Bible.
So what are we?
I mean, I don't know. I'm an atheist. I don't know about you, but I get what you're saying. You're saying, well, how can God support slavery if he freed slaves? He didn't free the slaves. He freed his chosen people. Everyone
Which
else
was
was still a
slaves.
slave. Yeah, his chosen people were slaves, yeah. And by the pharaohs in Egypt. And he freed them, and they were wandering around the desert, and then he told them, listen, now you're free, and if you want to have slaves, you must go to the foreign nations around you and get slaves. You can't own yourself.
Define chosen people.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess that's I've always questioned that myself. Like, how can God be all loving, but he has chosen people? That doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, how can God be all loving, meaning he loves all, but he has a chosen select group of people, the Hebrew Israelites?
That's what I mean. I'm like, we're all his people.
I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, but I'm just telling you, like, the argument that you're running is that how can God support slavery when he freed slaves? But he didn't free every single slave at the time. There were still plenty of slaves at that time, but he freed the Israelites, his chosen people. He freed them from slavery and then turned around and told them, you guys were slaves, and now you can go and get slaves, and you're allowed to beat your slave.
All right. We can move on to gRape.
So for gRape, I would say that in Numbers 31, God commands soldiers to go and kill all the Midianites and only save the young virgin girls for yourselves to keep them as brides. And also in Deuteronomy 21, 10 to 14, God tells his soldiers that if you are out in battle and you see a woman who's beautiful, you may capture her and take her into your home where she will mourn for her family that's just been murdered for a month. And then you can go into her and make her your wife.
Well,
I can read both of those verses for you if you'd like.
sure.
So Numbers 31, 17 through 18 says, now go and kill all the Midianite boys and kill all the Midianite women who have had sexual relations with a man. You can let all the young girls live, but only if they've never had sexual relations with any man. Okay, so that's God saying, like, keep the young virgin girls for yourselves. And if you go down a few more verses, it says they captured 16,000 virgins, and they gave 32 virgins to God, because God likes him some young virgins. And in Deuteronomy 21, verses 10 through 14, when you go out into battle against those who hate you, and the Lord your God gives them you and makes them go with you, and you see a beautiful woman and have desire for her as a wife, bring her home to your house. There she will cut off her hair from her head and cut off her nails. She will change the clothes she wore when you took her away and stay in your house, and she will have sorrow for her father and mother for 1 month. After that, you may go into her and be her husband, and she will be your wife. None of this is consensual. It's gRape.
Well, I mean,
Your God supports this. Your God supports slavery and gRape. You want to move on to murder?
I haven't even had a chance to talk about that yet.
You have something to say about these verses or what?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So I could argue you could look at these verses different ways. I mean, you're not going to leave young women, just by themselves after you've taken out their whole entire people. I mean, you're taking them home, and then
So it's better. So you're saying it's better to capture them and force them to be your brides than it is to leave them alone.
you're not capturing them. You're taking
They
them.
are captured. They are captive. It says there. It calls them captives.
Well, so it takes them
They're
in.
being captured and they're being forced to be brides. None of this is consensual. This is GRape. And I hear what you're saying. You're saying, well, the reason they're capturing them is because they can't just leave them out there. That would be better. And number one, it would be better to not slaughter their entire families.
Well, I
But
mean,
if you go out and slaughter their entire families, it's better to just leave them alone as opposed to capturing them and even giving some of them to God.
so to leave young women all out there by
Yeah, leave them
themselves.
alone. Yes, leave them alone. I prefer leaving them alone as opposed to capturing them and marrying them. Leave them alone. Choose the bear over God, right?
All right, now let's talk about murder.
So in 1 Samuel 15:3, God commands King Saul to go and kill all the Amalekite babies. That is unjustified murder, in my opinion. And in Genesis 6:6, God flooded the earth and drowned all the babies and all the pregnant women on the earth. Your God killed all the firstborn of Egypt.
It did flood them because the earth was full of sin.
The babies and infants and pregnant women,
Yes.
they were all sinful. Sinful little infants.
Well, I mean, they were going to be sinful because they're being
Well,
raised.
then why did God create them? So what you're saying is that God created infants just to drown them, like a cruel game.
Well, there was sin in the world.
Okay.
That's why they drown. I mean,
What about the Amalekite babies?
he gives
What
you a
did the
choice. I mean,
what did the Oh, he gave the Amalekite babies a choice?
no, not the babies. He gave the
Right. That's
people.
my main issue here. My main issue is with killing the babies, sir.
He
Smart.
gave them.
He gave the babies a choice.
You let me talk.
But you're talking about the adults. I just told you my
I'm
main
talking
issue
about
is
them as a people. Like
my main issue is with the babies.
So, if the entire world is with sin, how do you feel like him flooding the babies? How do you feel? How do you
Thank you,
think?
Crisco. W Crisco in the chat, guys.
How do you think they're gonna? How do you think
I
they're
don't think
gonna
there's any
grow up?
justification for. I don't think there's any justification for killing a baby. Are you pro-life?
Am I what?
Are you pro-life or are you pro-choice?
What is that?
Like, are you against abortion?
Yes.
Are you against killing babies?
Wait. Yeah.
Is it always wrong to kill a baby?
Mhm.
Is it always wrong for a person to kill a baby?
Well, not in God's eyes, because that's why He flooded the earth, was because it was full of sin.
Yeah, so it's not always wrong to kill a baby, is it?
Not in God's eyes.
Yeah, so why are you against abortion? God's pro-choice. God's okay with killing babies.
Why are we
so-
on abortion now? We're talking about God.
Well, because you just said it's not okay to kill babies, and I'm asking you, well, what about when God commands people to do it?
What do you mean He commanded them to?
In 1 Samuel 15:3, God commanded King Saul and his army to go and kill the Amalekite babies.
Just the babies.
Everyone.
Okay. So not just the babies, everyone.
I didn't say just the babies. I said God commanded them to go kill babies. Now go and fight against the Amalekites. You must completely destroy the Amalekites and everything that belongs to them. Don't let anything live. You must kill all men and women and all of their children and little babies.
Okay.
Is it always wrong to kill a little baby?
It's not wrong to kill sin.
The little babies were sinful?
I mean, obviously, they're being raised.
How can a little baby be
in a
sinful?
sinful place.
How can a little baby be sinful?
How can an adult be sinful?
How can a little baby be sinful, sir?
I'm asking the same question you are.
How can an adult can make decisions and like
And
do bad things. Babies can't do that, right?
I know, but they're going to be raised in the sinful adults.
So God doesn't want them to have free will? Shouldn't God have allowed the babies to have free will to decide whether they were going to be evil or not? Or did God just wanted to snuff them out right then and there and not let them have free will?
Well, I mean, He knows.
He knows what?
He knows whether they're going to be good or not. because he created them,
Oh,
right?
so if God knows that this baby is going to be evil, can the baby freely choose to be good?
I mean, no.
So you don't have free will if God's all knowing?
If God's all knowing and he commanded, wait, what do you, if God's all knowing
Bro,
and
you're like all twisted up right now.
he commanded them to go kill the babies, not just the babies, the entire of them as people, because their people were sinful people. That's why he sent them to kill them.
Yeah, but what the babies do? This is
I
murder,
mean,
sir. This is unjustified murder. This is God murdering babies. Your God supports slavery, grape, and murder. I've just demonstrated all these to you, and you have no answer, no refutation to any of those.
I've answered all three
You
of
have
them.
not refuted any of them.
We've just had different points of view.
You have not refuted any of them. You've actually agreed with me on every single one.
I'm not agreed on them.
So you still disagree that God supports slavery, and you still disagree that God supports grape, even though I've just showed you where God told the Israelites they can have slaves, and God commanded little virgin girls to be captured and forced into marriage.
I mean, the fact that you're saying little virgin girls. I mean,
That's what they were. That's what they were.
Women, and then
No, they killed the women. Every woman who was laid with a man, they killed. All the young girls who are virgins, you can keep for yourselves. You can. It says, verse 18. You can let all the young girls live, but only if they have never had sexual relations with any man.
okay, I mean, you let them live. So,
Yeah, and then you take them to be your bride.
so what's the problem there?
They're being raped. They're being non-consensually captured.
He can take them to be their bride, not raped. Great.
Yes, but this is not consensual. They're not consenting to this. They've had their entire family slaughtered. They've been captured. They even give 32 of the young virgin girls to God because God likes them young. He wants some of them young virgins himself because your God is a bloodthirsty, violent pedophile.
So, sorry about that. He sent for them to get all of them killed, and then the women, and then the little girls come back, and then they marry him. I don't understand what the problem is there.
They didn't come back. They were captured. They were captured.
Oh, it's the same thing. They came with them. They captured them. I mean,
Yeah, they were not. They weren't consensual.
where does it say they were raped?
So in Deuteronomy 21, 10 through 14, it says, after that you may go into her. If you see a beautiful woman, like it says, when you go into battle against those who hate you, and the Lord God gives them to you, and you see a beautiful woman, you can take her home, and she will cut off her hair and cut off her nails, and she will mourn for her parents who have just been slaughtered for 1 month. After that, you may go into her and be her husband, and she will be your wife. None of this is consensual. They're all being captured and taken and forced to be your wife. This is not consensual.
Still doesn't say where they're raped, though.
So when it says that they were captured and that they can go into them.
So they were captured, for one.
Yeah, so I'm going to assume that this is not consensual.
It's not rape.
So you're okay with this? You're totally okay with this?
Okay with what?
With these young virgin girls being captured? You're okay with that?
I mean, if God said that he went,
If God said it.
if God went and got them, obviously.
So is every command from God good and righteous?
In his eyes, yes.
So if God were would you always follow God's commands because all of God's commands are good and righteous?
Yeah.
So if God were to reveal himself to you in a way that you were absolutely certain that it was him and commanded you to go to your neighbor's house and capture their little young virgin daughter, you wouldn't do it?
I mean, if in his eyes, yes, because I'm a Christian.
So you would, if God commanded you to go to your neighbor's house and capture their little young virgin girl, you would do it.
Yeah.
So do your neighbors realize how dangerous you are? Your neighbor's daughters are in danger right now? Because all it would take is for you to hear a little voice in your head that you think is God, and you would literally go to your neighbor's house and capture their virgin daughter. This is Christianity. This is your like your morality on Christianity, guys. This is like a huge red flag. This is toxic. This is why your religion is toxic. This is why your beliefs are violent and harmful and toxic. And this is why people have a problem with Christians, because you've just told me that if God commanded you to capture a young virgin girl, you would do it. Stay away from your neighbor's daughters. Please, stay away from your neighbor's daughters. Keep tapping the likes, guys. If you want to watch the full live stream, go subscribe to my YouTube, guys. The link's in the bio. I post my full live streams on my YouTube, guys. If you are looking for some
Go subscribe to my YouTube,
content
guys.
to watch. Whoa, you got a bad echo. Are you there, Peter?
How do you hear me? You hear me okay, sir?
Yeah.
All right.
There's a
I
bad
think the
delay.
issue that you're having is
There's a bad connection, and also it sounds like you're driving. Guys, please don't be driving, and please, you got to be 18 plus, and please don't be driving.
Hey, so I have so many things to say about what you were talking about the other dude for. So the
Are you a
whole,
Christian?
yes, I am.
Okay. Would you like to talk about the following here?
I'm going back to your numbers, verses. Did you know that that whole thing was started because they were warned not to grape somebody, and so when they that whole village in
Who
numbers,
was warned not to grape somebody?
so the people that the
Who was it?
Amalekites, they were warned.
Numbers 31 isn't about the Amalekites. It's about the Midianites.
Let me go back. Okay, so the Midianites, you're right. They were warned before, like, this whole war got started that to not grape one of the Israelites. And so then a whole
Can you
group
give me the
of them,
verse? Can you give me the
yes,
verse?
I can. Let me go back.
Also, this still doesn't make it okay to capture young virgin girls. Just so you know.
It doesn't make it okay to grape somebody either. Like, the whole reason why that war got
So
started was because they mass graped somebody, an Israelite.
so you
And
agree
then
that God supports grape?
no, they told them not to grape
If
them.
God doesn't support
No,
grape, if
anyway.
God doesn't support grape, why did he say you're totally fine with capturing a young virgin girl and making her your bride? And also in Deuteronomy 21, he says it's totally cool to capture a woman and take her home and go into her and make her your wife.
But did you read that the part where it says that if she tries to leave, she must be freed, and you can't sell her
Only
as
only
a
if she
slave?
displeases him. She can't go free if she wants to, only if he's displeased with her.
But at the end of the day, as a woman, if you're not
So
pleased with
you
what's
agree they're being
going
raped.
on,
You agree that they're being raped. It's not consensual.
no,
They are being.
I'm saying that at the end of the day, the
It says
Midianites
join if you
started this
disagree.
by graping an Israelite woman, like brutal,
It
and then
says to
killing.
join if you disagree, but you actually agree that is okay with them being raped.
No, I'm saying that the Midianites ma- mass grape a woman.
So give me the verse. Give me the verse.
Okay, like, cause he keep like changing like.
No, we're still talking about grape here.
Okay, so it's a
Your God
number.
is totally fine with this. Your God says to go and do this. Your God supports grape.
So Moses said to them, okay. Some of the leaders, this is what a man has made a vow. Da da da. A woman makes a vow. I think it is in a woman binds herself now. So suppose okay. Conquest of the Midianites. Sorry, it's not highlighted, so I have to go back and reread it. But I read this passage like the other day, so I know that this whole war started because the Midianites raped someone, like, and they were warned not to.
Your God is totally fine with his soldiers capturing young virgin girls and forcing them to be brides. This is grape. This is not consensual.
They didn't
They
even like.
They hold on, ma'am. They capture 16,000 virgins and they give 32 of the virgins to God because God wants some of these young virgin girls as well. So your God supports this. Your God supports grape, and
I mean, what verse are
you're
you reading?
agreeing with me.
No, I'm definitely not agreeing with you because
So
it's not the
okay,
Israelites who started the grape in the first place. It was the Midianites.
So God was like, hey, one of my chosen people was graped. So guess what? Now you can go and grape their young virgin daughters. Your God supports it. Your God supports grape.
That even happened. So basically, they had all these people left over, and so instead of like unaliving the women too, they gave them the option of becoming a wife after
What about the
mourning,
boys?
after being sad,
Why didn't they save the boys? Why did they unalive all the boys?
because it was the boys who originally raped the Israelite
Can you
woman.
give me the verse? Give me the verse that says that these little boys raped someone.
I am still. It's either in number.
This is ridiculous.
And
Go find it. Go find it and come back. Okay.
well, I also have something else to say about Noah. So you said, "Oh my gosh,
W Noah. W Noah. Noah was a man
W
of the
Noah for
people.
sure." Because have you
Yeah,
ever read the Book of
he got
Enoch?
drunk. He got drunk and passed out naked in his tent. I've been there. I've been there.
So have you ever read the Book of Enoch? Because
No,
it
no.
okay. So I
But
feel like
listen,
you're a
thank you,
little bit
Joyful. Thank you so much,
uneducated when it
Joyful. I
comes to
appreciate the
Noah.
crown. Thank you for the crown,
Because
Joyful.
the whole reason
Ma'am, go
why
find the
God
verse. Ma'am, go find the verse. It
let
says the
me finish my
Midianite.
point first so I can prove you wrong. So
Nah.
the whole reason why God flooded the earth was because Noah's bloodline was the only pure bloodline. Because if you read it in the book of Enoch, the fallen angels had
Why are
committed
we talking about the flood?
miscegenation and stuff, and that is why
Why
God
are you
flooded the
pivoting to the
earth.
flood? Why are you pivoting to the flood? I'm confused.
Because you were okay, so that's what you did to the other dude. I'm commenting on the same things that you talked to the other dude
Thank
about.
you. Thank you so much. Yeah, the other guy said that it was okay that God drowned the babies. I disagree.
Those babies weren't regular human babies based off of the book of Enoch.
This is sad. This is sad. You're telling me every single infant and child and pregnant woman in the womb on the earth that day was evil.
Yes, they were
This is really
sleeping
sad.
with the fallen angels, creating like
The
Nephilim. They were creating
did God know all that was going to happen before it happened?
probably.
So before God even poofed the earth into existence, he knew he was going to have to flood it and drown babies.
Yeah, I mean,
This is like some weird
what?
cruel
Okay,
game.
where in the
This
Bible does
is
it
a
say that babies were drowned? Where in the Bible does it say that
are you
babies in
are you
specific
tell
were drowned?
are you
Where does
telling
it say
me like
that? Where does it say that?
when in
Where does it
human
say
history,
that?
ma'am, can I answer?
It doesn't.
When in human history has there never been one single child on the earth?
I'm literally saying.
When in human history has there never been a single
Where
infant
does it say
child on
that
the
babies were drowned in the Bible? Like, because
if
you
we
keep saying,
just
oh, God
if
drowned
we just
babies, but I'm
use
still trying to
logic,
find sources that say God drowned babies.
Holly, if we just
Where
use
does,
logic, we know that there were infants and children on the earth at the time of the flood, right? Or unless you're telling me that at the time of the flood, in whenever in human recorded history has there literally never been has there ever been zero children?
I'm just saying, dude, you've obviously
Listen,
haven't
go
read the
find that
book of
verse. Go find the
Enoch.
Midianite verse. Go
Go
find the
find where it
Midianite
says
verse.
God killed babies. Where does it
First
say that?
Samuel
Where
15:3.
does it say that?
First Samuel 15:3.
No, we're talking about Noah right now. Where does it say in Noah,
You
God
said show me
drowned
where
babies?
God you said show
Show
me
me
where God
that.
kills
Show
you
me
said me
that.
you said to show you where
Show me
God kills
that.
you said to show you where God kills babies in
No,
First
I
Samuel
said, show me
15:3.
where God drowned babies.
There were babies on the earth at the time of the flood.
Where does it say that? Because I'm telling you, in the book of Enoch,
Are
there weren't, like,
so you're
Noah was the
saying that
only human bloodline. So if
so you're
Noah didn't
saying there were
have
no
any
babies on
babies,
the earth?
huh?
There were no babies on the earth ever at that time?
There are no human babies because of the miscegenation that the
So
fallen angels
God
have
drowned
created.
so now you agree God drowned babies.
No, I'm not. I'm not agreeing. Because do you think a baby is a human? Let's start there. Do you think a baby is a
Yeah.
human baby? So
Yeah.
I'm saying there are no human babies because
Okay.
if Noah
Okay,
was the
well
only pure
even if I
bloodline, that would mean he would be the only person who could have made babies like at the time. And
yeah, but your God knew that this was going to have to happen. So essentially, your God made babies knowing he was going to have to drown them in like some weird, cruel game.
so, okay, in the book of Enoch, like I keep repeating, if Noah, Enoch, and that whole bloodline was the only purely human bloodline because everybody else was sleeping with the fallen angels, creating Nephilim giants, that means that Noah's bloodline would have been the only bloodline to have human babies. So I'm saying there were no babies to drown if Noah didn't have babies at
Well,
the time.
wait, is Enoch even in the Bible?
Yes, you can read about Enoch. Right here it talks about the bloodline. Right here,
What's the book
Genesis
chapter and
five
verse?
eighteen.
No,
When
you said the book of Enoch. It's not in the Bible.
it's in the Ethiopian Bible, it's in some earlier forms of the Bible.
Well,
Now, like you can
listen.
read
Even
it.
if I were to grant you that, like, okay, fine, the babies were like half giant, half alien species or whatever, your God still kills babies in First Samuel 15:3.
Let me go over to 1 Samuel 15:3. So 1 Samuel 14.
And then after this, can you find the verse that says that the
Who killed the
Midianite boys?
baby?
Huh?
It was Saul, right?
Yeah, God commanded King Saul and his army to go and kill the Amalekites.
So right before that happens in 1 Samuel verse 14, God refers to Saul as foolish.
Okay.
So
So, are you agree that God kills babies?
and it says that it was the Lord who told me to anoint you as king. Now listen, this is what the Lord of heaven's armies had decided to completely destroy the Amalekite children. Wait. Crazy enough, if they did actually do this, isn't don't later on?
So you agree that God
No,
kills
so
babies?
he did it because later
God.
on,
Well, let's read it.
First
Let's.
Samuel
God
30.
commanded. God commanded King Saul to go and utterly destroy the Amalekites and all of their babies.
And if that were to happen, then how come in First Samuel 30 there's still Amalekites left?
First
In
Samuel
the land of
15.
David.
First Samuel 15:30.
No, First Samuel 30.
First Samuel 30. What does it say?
So basically David is now king. And so it says that they found the Amalekites had made a raid into Negev and Ziklag. So if they really did off all these people, then how are
There
they
is
still
there is
here?
no First Samuel 30.
I'm looking at it.
Wait, I'm trying to. Oh, my computer's messing up. It wouldn't let me click on it.
Maybe you should like read the Bible in full context before starting a live with Christians without reading the rest of the story. Because the
Well,
Amalekites are still alive
so then we have a contradiction in your
like
Bible
three
here, then, don't
reigns
we?
later.
So we have a contradiction.
It's not
I
a
would say,
contradiction. Maybe they just didn't
well, maybe.
actually like,
So are you saying that they didn't kill the Amalekites?
if they did, they wouldn't be still here
Maybe,
like
maybe,
two reigns
maybe some of
later
them,
looking.
maybe some of them got away.
Maybe some of them got away, but wouldn't that go against like
But,
what they were told to do?
I would still argue that God is supporting murder because
And
he.
so then it says they found the Amalekites eating, drinking, and dancing with joy. They found literally right here. First Samuel 30:16. So he led David, and they found the Amalekites spread across the fields, eating and drinking and dancing with joy because of the
So I guess some of them got away. I guess I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Your Bible has contradictions and inconsistencies all over it. Because in First Samuel 15:3, God says to kill all the Amalekites, and then like 20, like 30, like 29 chapters later, they're still there. Like
exactly.
just like when
So
God flooded the earth to get rid of all the Nephilim. But later on in the Bible, there's still Nephilim, right? So like,
and then
it's
in
a
Second Samuel, here's a Amalekite.
you're just pointing out contradictions and inconsistencies in your book. That's all
No,
you're
I'm
doing.
just saying you haven't read the whole story, and so now you're gonna blame it being an
Well, I've
inconsistency
read the
because
whole
you didn't
Bible
do your research.
twice. I've read the whole
Because
top.
you didn't do your research. Because
I've
even
read
right
the
here in Second Samuel, they saved an
ma'am,
Amalekite man.
ma'am, relax. Can you relax? I've read the entire Bible twice, but I don't memorize the whole thing. It's
So maybe
impossible
you
to
should like
memorize it.
look into what you're
You
about
didn't
to
even
talk
know about
about.
these verses. You didn't even know
I
about these
came up here to
verses.
talk about these verses, so obviously I knew
You
about
didn't
these
even know
verses.
about First Samuel 15:3. You didn't even know about you didn't even
So
know
why
about
did
Deuteronomy
so why did
21.
King David in Second Samuel verse 1
So, do you still hold the
8
position?
through
Let's get back to the
11?
debate. Let's get back to the debate. Do you,
I'm still debating you. I'm just proving you
yeah.
wrong. That's
Well,
what's
no, you're
going
not.
on.
No, you're not proving me wrong because you're actually pointing out that everything I said God does here indeed happens in the Bible. So how are you proving me wrong? God supports slavery.
Because
God
you
supports grape.
literally just said that all the
All of
Amalekites were gone in First Samuel 15:3, and they're still here in Second
yes,
Samuel.
that is a
And
contradiction, and that
so
is a contradiction or an inconsistency in your
it's not
book.
an inconsistency if you read the whole story. That's what I'm saying. Like if you
Okay,
continue to
okay,
read it, wouldn't be
okay.
inconsistent.
So Holly in First Samuel 15, Holly in First Samuel 15:3, God commands all of the Amalekites to be killed, right? And then in First Samuel 30, they're still there, right? The Amalekites are still there. So what does that mean? What's that mean?
It means that they weren't all. I don't want to say they weren't
They
all
weren't
under
all killed,
God,
right? They weren't all
and
killed.
then they protect them.
Some of them got away, I guess.
In Second Samuel, because you're talking about it was the men. So like, oh, why should God kill all the men? Here in Second Samuel, Like David is talking to an
I was
Amalekite
talking about the Midianites. I was
and
talking
he
about the.
saved him, and it was a
I was
man.
talking about the Midianites. I was talking about the Midianites.
The Midianites. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
in
yeah.
Numbers
My
in
fault,
Numbers
my fault.
31.
But still, they are still
So
here. And
let's
someone
address
else.
these. Let's address these one at a time because you disagree that God supports slavery, correct?
I feel like y'all use biblical
Can you
slave
just answer the
and the
question?
transatlantic
Can you just
slave
answer
trade
the
are two
question?
different things.
Do you disagree that God supports slavery?
I feel as if slavery in the Bible and
Can you just answer the
transatlantic slave
question? Do
trade
you
are two different
disagree?
things.
Yes or no? Do you disagree that
Can
God
I have
supports
a second
slavery?
to explain my reasoning?
I'm
Because
asking you a yes or no question.
I'm telling you my way that I want to answer it.
I'm asking you a yes or no
And
question,
I'm
ma'am.
going to give you an answer
If
without.
you're not going to engage in the conversation, I'll just
I
move
am
on.
engaging.
Okay, yes or no? Do you
So
disagree that
let me.
God supports slavery?
What kind of slavery?
Owning someone for life and beating them.
No, that's not what slavery was depicted like in the Bible. So
Okay, let's read it. Let's read it. Let's read it. Let's read it. Okay.
you were
Levit-
supposed to be freed after 7 years.
yeah, that's only for
Well,
your that's only for your Hebrew slaves, not your
no,
foreign
that's not
slaves.
true. That's not
Okay,
true.
let's read it.
And
Let's read
then
it.
we can go back and read it. I would love to go back and
Can we
read it.
have a back and forth? Can we have a back and forth? Okay.
No, I'm telling you to
The
go back and
the
read the whole thing,
okay,
and
the
not
year
just the
of
parts
okay.
that stick out to you.
So like the indentured servitude and the year of jubilee, all of that applies to your fellow Hebrews. For your foreign slaves, you can own them for life. In Leviticus 25:44 through 46, God gave very specific rules and instructions to the Israelites, telling them that they can own non Israelites as slaves for life, even children. You can own them for life. And in Exodus 21:20 through 21, you're allowed to beat your slave with no punishment as long as the slave does not die.
But why does it say in Leviticus 25:48 they still retain the right to be bought
That's
back
about your
even
Hebrew.
after they've been. No, it
That's
says
about your
suppose a
Hebrews.
foreigner or temporary, because that means foreigner. I hope you know what that means. Suppose
Yeah,
a foreigner.
that's
That's
about
talking about the
someone.
foreign slaves right there, and it literally says right
No,
there.
that's about a foreigner who's
I'm
visiting
reading it
you.
straight off the page, bro.
Okay, it says maybe a foreigner or visitor among you becomes rich, or someone from your own country becomes so poor that they sell themselves as a slave. If
They
someone
still
sells
have
like
the
some,
right to retain
not a
the right to be
foreigner.
fought. It literally says suppose a foreigner. Like
Okay,
literally. So
let
like
me read
if
it. Let me read it. Let me read it because the
it
people are in
starts
the comments.
verse 25,
Can you
47.
just calm down? Just calm
Um
down.
no,
Let me read it so the people in the comments can hear it. Let me read it, okay?
okay.
Maybe a foreigner or a visitor among you becomes rich, or maybe someone from your own country becomes so poor that they sell themselves as slaves to a foreigner living among you or to a member of a foreigner's family. These people have the right to be bought back and become free. That's not a foreigner, that's your Hebrew.
That is a foreigner. If it says suppose it's a foreigner or a temporary
Holly, it
resident,
says
then it
if
says
someone
they
from
still retain the right to be like how else can you read that?
Holly, it
How
says
else
if
can you read that?
Holly, it says
It's
if
like
someone from your own country sells themselves to a foreigner. The foreigner is the one who owns the slave here, not the other way around. If someone from your own country becomes so poor that they sell themselves to a foreigner, that person has a right to be bought back. The foreigner owns the slave here. The foreigner is not the slave. Do you see that?
if any Israelites have not been bought by God, I would believe for the year the heirs. It even says down in the foreigner must treat them as workers hired on a yearly basis.
Address what I just said.
You must
Address what I
not
just said.
allow. I'm just
Stop.
reading. I'm
You're
just
trying to move
continuing to
on. You're
read
trying to
that.
move past. You're trying
It's
to
the
move past.
same passage. I'm still in Leviticus 25. I'm just a few sentences down, dude, and it's
Yeah,
still talking about the foreigners
do
being
you
able to be
see
bought
now?
back.
Do you
Like
see now that it's
what?
not? Do you see now that it was not the foreigner who was a slave here? It was the foreigner owned a slave. Like a foreigner who owned a Hebrew. That Hebrew has a right to be bought back. Not the foreign slaves. The foreign
The
slaves don't have
foreigners
a right.
also reserve the right to be bought back.
No, they don't. Show me where it says that.
Okay, the foreigner must treat them like this. If any Israelites, a year jubilee, redemption for the poor and enslaved. Um, okay.
The foreigners are owned for life, Holly.
Um, right here in verse 50, 3. The foreigner must treat them as workers hired on a yearly basis. You must not allow foreigner to treat any of your fellow Israelites harshly if any Israelite has not been bought back at the time of the year.
Can you show me the verse where a foreigner can be bought back, or that a foreigner can be bought to be free? The foreigners are owned for life, Holly.
Where does it say that the foreigners are owned for life?
About your men and women slaves, you may get men and women slaves from the nations around you. Also, you may get children as slaves if they
Wait, where are
come from
you
the
reading
families.
from?
Huh?
Where are you reading from?
For Leviticus 25:44 through 46. You may
Okay.
even you may even pass these foreign slaves onto your children after you die, so that it will belong to them. They will be your slaves forever. You may make slaves of these foreigners. Maybe you should do your research, like you told me.
Or actually, no, because in I think it's Ecclesiastes later on. So
Ma'am,
it
the
talks.
foreigners are owned for life.
I
God
don't. I
supports.
don't
So do you
think it's
agree now that
that
God's? Do you
because it
agree now that
literally says, like in the next verse down, that like
that is a foreigner who owns a Hebrew slave? We just went over this with you. I just literally went over this with you. That is not a foreigner being bought back. That is a Hebrew being bought back. The
But also,
Hebrews.
I have a question.
Can you just stay on topic here and stop
No, this
pivoting?
has to do with the topic. I have a question.
So hold on. Before you ask this question, do you now agree that
I do
God
not. I
supports?
do not agree. No, I do not.
You still disagree that God supports slavery?
Does he support? What kind of slavery are we talking about?
Being owned for life and beaten.
No, God does not agree with being beaten. It
Okay,
literally says,
Exodus 21:20 to 21. You're allowed to beat your slave with a rod as long as the slave does not die.
but it says that. Oh wait, Exodus 21. Wait,
Exodus
what?
21. Exodus 21. You should do your research. Exodus 21:20 to 21. Anyone who beats their male or female slave with a rod must be punished if the slave dies, but they are not to be punished if the slave recovers after a day or two, since the slave is their property. God supports
So
slaves being.
what about Exodus 20 um 23? But if there is a further injury, the punishment must match the injury. A life for a life, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, a hand
That's
for a
about a
hand,
pregnant.
foot
That's
for a
about beating a
foot.
pregnant woman. That's about beating a pregnant woman, not a
But it
slave.
says if a man hits his male or female slave in the eye, um, it says
No, it
in
doesn't
the
say that.
eye, and the eye is blinded, he must let the slave go free to compensate for the eye. And
Yeah, but
if
you're allowed to beat your slave with a rod all over his back, all over his
but
legs,
it
all over his
literally says an
arms.
eye for an eye, a
Yeah,
hand
so
for a
don't.
hand.
Yeah, so don't
And
knock
it
your slave's
literally
eye. Or,
says that, like, if you hurt the
ma'am,
slave, you must let them go
no, it
free.
doesn't say if you hurt them, you must let
It's
them go
like
free.
right here
It
in
does not
I
say if
think
you hurt
21
them,
and
let
26.
Holly. It does not say that if you hurt them, they get to go free. It says if they lose an eye or a tooth. So when it says like you can beat your slave with a rod, typically you would beat your slave all over his back, all over his arms, all over his legs. As long as you don't knock their eye or their tooth out, then there will be no punishment for that. You're allowed to beat your slave with a rod.
So
So
what about the whole
you
eye?
asked me,
But
hold
if there
on.
is an injury, the punishment must match the injury: a life for a life, an eye for an eye, a tooth for the tooth, a hand for a hand, a foot for a foot, a burn for a burn, a wound for a
That's about a
wound.
pregnant
And
woman.
for
That's about a pregnant
a man
woman.
hits a male or female
That
slave.
is about a pregnant woman.
So, okay, so you're saying 20 through 21 is about slavery, yet 22 and 23 is, or
22 is about a
23,
pregnant woman.
no, no, 23 and
If people are
24.
fighting, if people are fighting and hit a pregnant woman and she gives birth prematurely, but there is no serious injury, the offender must find whatever the woman's husband demands. But there is a serious injury, take life for a life, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, hand for a hand, foot for a foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for bruise. That is about a pregnant woman, not slavery.
If a man hits a female or male slave in the eye and is blinded, he must let the slave go free.
Yes, so don't hit your slave in the
And
face. You
if
can beat your
a
slave
man,
all over his back, all over his legs, all over his arms.
if a man, I still disagree.
You still disagree that God supports people being owned as property for life and beaten.
No, because it's not for life. Because the
Okay, let's
word
go back to it.
Jubilee, which
Let's go
goes,
back. Let's go
which
back.
is
They
for
will be
foreigner
your
slaves
slaves.
too.
You may
And
even
then,
pass these
hold on,
slaves
let
on to
me
your
finish. Let me finish,
Holly.
bro. You're built like a.
Like, oh yeah, she just insulted me. She just insulted my weight.
I
Listen,
mean, you
Holly,
insulted my God, bro. You said he was
dude,
like,
bro, dude, your God is a violent
and
psychopath
then
who Your God is a
Just say
violent
you're the
psychopath,
Guardian.
Holly. It does say you can be owned for life. Okay, well, let's go over it
But it
again.
literally says you can be freed and bought back, and like
Only
if
the Hebrews.
you get
Only the
hurt, like
Hebrews.
the person must get hurt too. And then it says in Ecclesiastes that either
Holly,
you work
Holly,
hard or you become a slave. So slavery was more like working
Holly.
versus
I
the
know that
two
you're
in
Holly. I know
slave
you're getting
trade.
Holly. I know you're getting cooked right now. That's why you wanted to insult me.
I'm not even getting
Insult.
cooked. I'm going
Yes,
through
you are.
multiple areas of the Bible where freaking
Okay.
slavery is mentioned, and
So
then
you're
it's like
foreign slaves, Holly. Relax. Calm down.
foreign
You're.
slaves were allowed to be freed. They were allowed to be bought
Show me the
back.
verse. Show me the verse. Show me the verse.
But wait, let me go to my
Show
Ecclesiastes
me the
part.
verse. Show me the
So,
verse where the foreign slaves can be bought back.
hold on.
I want the verse
I'm
for the
trying
foreign
to finish
slaves.
my first point before I go back
No,
to it.
no, no. We're not
No,
gonna.
it's
We're
about
not. Listen,
slavery,
Holly.
bro.
Holly, we're not gonna move past this until you give me
It's
the
still
verse that
about
says.
slavery. Let me like use the Bible to like
Okay,
answer your
give me the
question.
verse. Give me the
So,
verse that says the foreign slaves can be bought back. I want the verse. We're not gonna. We're not gonna talk about anything else until you give me that verse.
I'm gonna talk about what I want to talk about, and I'm gonna say that this is still about slavery in the Bible. Okay, so it literally says either you work hard for
What's
life
the
or
verse? What's
either
the
you
verse?
work
What's the
hard.
verse? What's the
I'm trying
verse?
to find it. It's in Ecclesiastes, but it says
Okay,
either you
stop
work
talking and
hard
give
or
me the
become a
verse. Go
slave.
find the verse. Stop talking and find the verse. I'm gonna give you about 60 seconds to find it.
I'm trying to find it in Ecclesiastes. Wait, I think it's talking about like for the young.
How? Look, I
Um,
got 17 guest requests, so go find it and come back. Okay, I'll let you come back up here. Find
um.
the verse. Find the verse. I'm gonna write your name down, Holly, and you're gonna find a verse that says that the foreign slaves can be bought back. Okay, find that verse
Okay,
that
I'll put it in
says.
the comments too.
No, I'm gonna let you come back up here. Send a guest request if you find the verse that says the foreign slaves can be bought back. Okay, okay, Holly. But
Wait.
Holly,
This-
don't come, Holly. If you can't find the verse or if you don't find the verse, do not come back here. Okay.
And then the Lord send you back to Egypt to a destination I promised.
I did this yesterday. Spoiler alert: she won't be back. If she's like a true to her word and she says that I won't come back here if I can't find this verse, she won't be back because there is no verse that says that the foreigner can be bought back. The foreign slaves are you cannot. The foreign slaves can't be bought back by other foreigners. The foreign slaves are owned for life. But Holly, go find the verse. Go find the verse that says the foreign slaves can be bought back.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good, and you?
I'm good, thank you.
So, Christianity does not support the following that you have up there.
All right, where would you like to start at?
The last one?
Murder.
Yes.
So in 1 Samuel 15:3, God commanded King Saul and his army to go and slaughter the Amalekites and all of their babies and infants.
Yep.
That's murder.
But that doesn't mean
So you agree? You agree
God.
that God supports murder?
No, I'm
You
saying
just said
God.
that was murder. You just said that was
That
murder.
that is, but that doesn't mean God supported. God
God
used
commanded
that.
it. God
God
commanded it.
God commanded
Yeshua,
it.
Yeshua. God commanded it.
God commanded it because
So
if
he
you look
supports
back,
it.
God commanded it because if you look back in Genesis 3, he told the woman that she would bear a seed that would destroy the serpent's head, and the serpent would bruise his
What?
heel.
What is this? What are you
Meaning,
yapping about?
meaning that what God allowed to happen and commanded to happen was all in order to protect his people from destruction. Like he did with the flood. He wiped out a
Are
whole.
you a black Hebrew Israelite?
No.
Okay, okay. Now
Like
listen.
he.
Now listen. God supports murder. You said it was murder, and you said that God doesn't support it, but God commanded it.
Just because someone commands and allows something doesn't mean they support it.
Yes, it does.
No. So you telling me would you, if you had a child, just allow anyone to come and threaten your child?
No, I would not let
life.
anyone threaten. No, I would not let anyone threaten my
So
child.
you would. So basically, you're telling me you would do anything to protect your child.
Yes.
So that's what God did. He did anything to protect Israel from being.
So what he did was he murdered the Amalekite babies, and he supports that.
He wiped out a generation. Yes, he did.
Okay. Okay. So we agree. God supported the
No,
murder.
he
God.
doesn't
Yes.
support. He
God
does not
supported it.
support. He used it for ends to justify the means.
Okay. So I'm going to argue that God supported it. Since God caused it, God commanded it. God supported it. I'm gonna stick to that.
So
You want to talk
basically,
about the slavery or the grape?
okay, talk about the slavery.
Okay, God supports slavery in Leviticus 25:44 through 46.
What does it say?
About your men and women slaves, you may get men and women slaves from the nations around you. Also, you can get children as slaves if they come from the families of the foreigners living in your land. These child slaves will belong to you. You may even pass these foreign slaves onto your children after you die, so that they'll belong to them. They will be your slaves forever. You may make slaves of these foreigners, but you must not be a cruel master over your own brothers, Israelites. God supports the Israelites owning non-Israelites as slaves for life.
Yeah, and if you look
So
back
God supports slavery.
if you look back at the context, I said context in which
So
that
God supports
was
slavery.
going through, they
So
were going
God
they
supports
were
slavery. You
going through
agree?
war.
Do you
They were
agree now? Do you agree now that God supports slavery?
no.
Even though I've just told you where God told the Israelites they're allowed to have slaves.
God told them that because at that time in their history they were going to war
Yeshua,
with
Yeshua,
surrounding
Yeshua,
nations.
Yeshua,
And
Yeshua,
so
Yeshua.
it was
Did God tell the Israelites they're allowed to own non-Israelites as slaves?
yes.
God supports slavery. Thank you. Anything else? You want to talk about the grape?
Go ahead.
So yeah, in Numbers 31:17 through 18, God commanded little young virgin girls to be captured and forced to be brides. In Deuteronomy 21:10 through 14, God says if you see a beautiful woman in a battle, you can capture her and take her home and go into her and make her your wife.
No, actually, that was not God's. That was what Moses said.
No, this is what God told.
This is what Moses said. God
This is the
never
rule in
commanded them.
Deuteronomy. In Deuteronomy, God is telling Moses and the Israelites that if you go into battle, and if you see a beautiful woman, you can capture her and take her home and go into her.
Moses added that for his own
Moses said
reasoning.
that God told him this.
And how many times do people today say something that God
So
said, which
Moses is a
God didn't say?
liar. You're calling Moses a liar.
It,
You're calling God's greatest messenger, Moses, a liar.
I'm saying that he added on something that God never said.
So you're saying Moses is a liar.
No, I'm not saying he's a liar.
Moses said that God told him on Mount Sinai that if you go into battle and you see a woman who you desire, you can capture her, take her home and cut off her hair and cut off her nails, and she will cry over her parents that have just been slaughtered for 1 month, and then after that you can go into her and she will be your wife. This is grape. And if you're going to sit there and say, well, no, Moses said
How
that, but
is making them their wives great? I'm a little confused on that.
because they didn't consensually go, they were captured.
So
This is
what?
literally capturing a woman.
So,
Sir, if you capture a woman and you take her to your house and you go into her, that is rape. That is grape.
so if we're in war and you are overtaking that city and you're taking the people captive, they are actually property of
You're not making this any
war.
better. You're not making this any better.
Yes, I am.
So the woman is a piece of property now that you've captured and taken her into your home and you go into her.
If it's in war, people do it all the time.
This is
How
not
do you-
consensual.
how-
This is grape.
How do you think colonizers came over here and
Yes, this is
Yeah.
the same thing. This is the same thing. This is what your God supports too, by the way. This is
No,
what
he
God,
does not support it.
Then why did God say you can do
Because
it? Then why did God
just
say you can do
because
it?
no, God never said that he could do it.
So what you're
Moses
doing
said
is you're
that.
calling Moses a liar.
Yeah, I'm calling Moses a liar.
You're calling God's greatest message. So how can you believe anything that Moses said?
I'm calling Moses a liar because I understand how God works And that,
Oh, there's going to be so many Christians who would like love to fight you on that. There's probably so many Christians who would love to fight you on that, calling Moses a liar. How can you trust anything Moses says?
Hello. How's your day going?
You got to be 18 plus, guys. You got to be 18 plus. Please keep tapping the likes, guys. Everyone follow, click the follow button, guys, and go follow my YouTube, please, guys. The link's in the bio if you want to watch the full live stream. He's literally justifying kidnapping and gRape. Yes, that is exactly what he was justifying. Like that's what the Bible is talking about here when it says if you are in battle and the Lord gives them to you and you make them go. It says when you go out to battle against those who hate you and the Lord your God gives them to you and you see a beautiful woman and have a desire for her, you can bring her to your house, cut off her hair, cut off her nails. She will mourn for her parents for a month. After that, you may go into her. This is literally kidnapping and gRaping a woman. But apparently Moses is a liar. Moses is a liar. What's the verse? Deuteronomy 21, 10 through 14. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to get a guest up in here. I've got 15 guest requests, so I'm just clicking, I'm clicking randomly here. Hello? That was really noisy background there. Deuteronomy 21, 10 through 14. Hello, Kylo.
Yo,
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Is this just a debate? Like, am I only supposed to call if I disagree with what you're saying or if I
Yeah,
agree?
join if you disagree.
Okay, yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. So
Oh, okay.
keep killing it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Yeah, guys, only send the guest request if you disagree, guys. And please, you got to be 18 plus and no driving and all that good stuff. Hello? All right. Trying to get a guest in here.
Yo,
Yo.
what's up, man? So
How you doing?
before we get into it, I ain't gonna, me personally, I'm not a Christian. I'm practicing more like Messianic Judaism, but I do see a couple points that you've been saying that I don't totally agree with.
Okay, like what?
Specifically on the one on, okay, so I gotta be careful with my words here. gRape.
Okay.
I see you.
You got to come back to the app, Hunter.
Sorry, I had it on my phone here.
Yeah, if you swipe out of the app, we can't hear you.
All right. I read there's a couple verses in Deuteronomy that contradict what you're saying, and that tends to happen.
No, not a contradiction in the Bible.
Bro, I can promise you there are many contradictions in the Bible, brother.
No way, bro. No, not a contradiction.
What do you mean, no?
There's no way there's a contradiction in the Bible. There's no way.
How is there no contradiction in the Bible?
I'm being sarcastic, dude. Of course there's contradictions in the Bible.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
but
but I mean, you're not really like, this doesn't really help you out because, yeah, we all know that the Bible is full of shit. We all know that the Bible has contradictions and inconsistencies, and the Bible was written by 2,000-year-old goat herders who didn't know where the sun goes at night. We know this.
Well, I believe most of the contradictions come from man, brother.
The whole Bible comes from man, brother.
I know, and that's where the contradiction comes into place.
Yeah, the Bible is a giant pile of shit. It's full of contradictions. So I don't see how you're gonna I don't see how this argument's gonna help you here. Like when you're saying I'm saying something,
okay,
and you're saying you have a verse that contradicts it. Well,
hold on, give me 1 second, so I'll swipe out to see the verse real quick. Hold on, because it's all on my phone, man. Hold on.
Keep tapping the likes, everyone. Please share the live.
Deuteronomy 22.
Deuteronomy 22, what?
(13 through 29).
That's a lot of verses. This is for law of those who are not faithful in marriage. So this has nothing to do with the time of war.
It has
Deuteronomy.
to do
Deuteronomy.
It has to do
Deuteronomy.
with grape.
Okay, let's read it. 13 through what?
29.
If a man takes a wife and goes into her and decides he does not like her and says that she did sinful acts and puts her to shame before others and says, I took this woman, but when I came near her, I found that she had been with another man, then the girl's father and mother should bring what is needed to prove she has not been with another man to the leaders of the city. This is where like they lay out the white cloth or whatever. Then the girl's father and mother should bring what is needed to prove she has not been with another man to the leaders of the city. The girl's father will say to the leaders, I gave my daughter to this man for a wife, but he turned against her. He said she has done sinful acts, saying, I found that your daughter has been with another man, but I brought that what will prove that my daughter has not been with another man, and they will spread the clothing in front of the leaders in the city. Then the leaders of the city will take the man and punish him. They will make him pay 100 pieces of silver and give it to the girl's father because he has put to shame the name of an Israelite girl who has not had a man. She will still be his wife. He cannot divorce her as long as he lives. But if it is true that the girl was found to have had another man, then they will bring the girl to the door of the father's house. There the men of the city will kill her with stones because she has done a foolish act in Israel by acting in her father's house like a woman who sells the use of her body. So you will get rid of the sin from among you. I'm not really sure what you're trying to show me here. This is just saying like you said that your daughter was a virgin, but when we laid down, she wasn't a virgin. And this is actually kind of disgusting because like it's saying like if you lay a cloth out and when you go into her, if she doesn't bleed, then she's not a virgin. But that's bullshit because like biologically we know
25 through 27.
25. But if the man finds a girl in the field who was promised in marriage and makes her lie with him, then only the man who lies with her will die. Do nothing to the girl. There is no sin in the girl bad enough for her to be put to death. If it is a man, it is if a man goes against his neighbor and kills him when he found her in the field. The girl promised in marriage cried out, but there was no one to save her. So yeah, I would say that this does seem like a contradiction, right? Because it's saying here, do not lie with a girl in the field. But I don't see what it's talking about grape though.
Yo, hello, my phone's cutting out, man.
This is actually saying that like you're assuming that the girl was graped because she doesn't scream out in the city, right? Like so if the girl is graped and she doesn't scream out, then you're to put both of them to death. But like if a girl like most people who have been graped will tell you that when the act is occurring that they freeze up and they actually can't scream. Right? So it's pretty gross to say that, hey, because this woman didn't scream out, we're going to assume that you liked it. We're going to assume that because you didn't scream for help.
Bro, you're looking so like like
what? That's what this is saying.
But you're taking it too literally, bro.
No, this is saying that if a girl is supposedly graped in the city and then if she doesn't scream out for help, then she must have liked it, so put both of them to death. That's what it's saying.
Reread it again, bro.
If a girl who has never had a man is promised in marriage to a man, another man might find her in the city and lie with her. Then you must bring them both to the gate of that city and kill them with stones. Put the girl to death because she did not cry for help in the city, and the man because he has sinned against his neighbor's wife. So what it's saying is that because the girl did not scream out for help, we're going to assume that she liked it. If she didn't like it, she would have screamed for help. But when you're being graped, sometimes you freeze up and you can't scream for help. So it's pretty disgusting to assume that because this woman didn't scream out for help in the city, it's pretty disgusting to assume that she must have liked it, so therefore stone her to death. That's what the verse is saying, and that's pretty gross.
I'm specifically talking about whenever it says only the man shall be punished. If God supports grape, then why should the man only be punished?
That's because it was out in a field and there was no one there. There was no one there to hear if the woman screamed or not. So it's different if it happens in the city. See what I'm saying? But if the man finds a girl in the field who was promised in marriage and makes her lie with him, then only the man who lies with her will die. Because there's no way of determining whether she screamed for help or not because it was out in the field. It's all about whether they expect the woman to scream for help. And if she's in the city...
I get what you're saying, man.
If she's in the city and she doesn't scream for help, they're going to assume she liked it and that therefore kill her, stone her because she wasn't being graped. She didn't scream for help. But if it's out in the field, there's no way to determine if she screamed for help or not. So we can't put her to death, but we're going to put the man to death. But yeah, I could still see what you're saying, how this is a contradiction. I get what you're saying, because we could look at verses in Deuteronomy 21 and Numbers
Because I
31.
noticed when you pulled up Jacob's daughter, because that's the one that you always you say whenever you bring up this topic, is whenever she was graped and then cut up and sent around the city.
No. I haven't talked about that verse in a long time. Yesterday, some guy brought it up and I was talking about it yesterday, but in the book of Judges, I think. But I completely forgot all about that verse. But yeah, if like I guess you said you were watching yesterday, some guy brought that up. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I can see what you're saying here. You're saying like, how can God support grape when this man is being put to death here? Well, we could, like you said, it's a contradiction. We could just point back to book. We can point back to
Look, dude,
Numbers.
I'm not here to say that. Okay, I believe God is loving, but at the same time, you have to look at it from an ancient perspective, my man. You can bring
If God is loving, why does He want non-heteros to be put to death?
Because God states in the Bible, if a man sleeps with another man, then he shall be put to death.
Yeah. So why is that a loving God? Is that a loving thing to do?
Well, if the person goes against what the Holy Savior is saying, then do you think that
Is that a
the
loving
Holy
act?
Savior should be nice
Like
to him?
two consenting adults who love each other and want to make love, God wants them to die for that? Is that a loving God?
God doesn't want two men to make love. That's what you're misunderstanding.
So
here.
He's not a loving God because these two consensual adults make love, and God's like, no, I don't like that. That's not a loving God. A loving God,
want two men to have sex, man. I mean,
a loving God, sir, an all loving God would want as much consensual love making to happen.
Not by two men.
Yeah, he's
by
not
a man and a woman, not by two men.
He's not a loving God. If He's a loving God, why did He drown babies, flood the earth and drown babies? If He's a loving God, why does He? If He's a loving God, why does He?
And what did I say?
A loving God would not support slavery. A loving God would not support grape.
And right before I just said this, I'm not gonna come here and sit here and say that God is just the nicest person that was ever here, bro.
God is a violent, bloodthirsty maniac.
Whenever you start to disobey the laws of the Lord, then there are consequences. And whenever you bring up the thing on murder,
what crimes did the babies commit?
Would you say Franklin D. Roosevelt is a murderer because he sent America to the beaches of Normandy and killed thousands of Nazis? Is he a murderer?
What laws did the babies disobey?
What babies are we talking about?
The babies in the flood, the babies in 1 Samuel 15:3, the babies in Numbers 31.
The families were full of sin, man. They were cursed.
What laws did the babies disobey? You said that if you disobey God's laws, there's consequences.
Their family disobeyed
so
God's
laws. So your loving God kills babies for the sins of His parents.
Yes.
That's a loving God.
No, you're sitting here saying
bro,
that God is some loving person.
Get out of here, bro. God is love. God is a loving God. And also He kills babies for things they didn't do. My God is a loving God, and He kills babies for their parents' crimes. My God is a loving God, but He wants non-heteros to die. That's the complete opposite of justice. When somebody is punished for something they didn't do, how is that justice? How is your God a just God? How is your God a loving and just God when He punishes innocent babies? Thank you for the cowboy hat.
Oh, hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So yeah, honestly, I do agree with like a lot of your points here, and I do agree that the Bible has a lot of contradiction, but I'm not like fully convinced on the small fruit, like the second point thing. Sorry, I just don't want to say it.
Great.
But I just think that it depends on the translation of.
We can't hear you, Julian. Julian, if you leave the app, we can't hear you.
Oh, there we go. I was just trying to pull up the Deuteronomy verse, but there's other translations that don't necessarily say that it was like against their will, and I know that it is messed up because like, dude, that could be like Stockholm syndrome.
What verse are you talking about?
The Deuteronomy verse. If you look at it in different,
you talking about Deuteronomy 21:10-14, where it says you can take a woman in battle and marry her.
Yes, yeah, the one where it says go into her, that is clearly like not good.
None of
But
this
there's
is,
other
even if it
trans.
doesn't say, to go into her, it's still not consensual. She's been captured. Her family has been slaughtered, and she's been captured, and you take her to your house. It's
I
not
guess
consensual.
I guess that is fair. I mean, she can always like run away though, or no? Is there anything about like
Yeah,
stopping
if
her?
she's lucky enough to get away.
I guess that's fair. Yeah, it is. I guess
So
you're right.
even if it doesn't say to go into her, it still says that you can capture her and take her home, cut off her hair, cut off her nails, cut her clothes off, and she will mourn for her parents for a month, and then you can consummate the marriage, however you want to put it.
Yeah, so that in of itself is slavery in itself, almost.
Yeah, that's sexual slavery. But when I say slavery, I'm talking about in Leviticus 25, 44 through 46, more specifically. But yeah, you could call that sexual slavery, I guess.
Yeah, wow. All right. I mean, you got me there. Find someone else to debate. I'm not
Okay.
arguing with you.
All right. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming up here. Everyone keep tapping the likes, guys. Everyone share the live right now. And also click the follow button, guys, if you've enjoyed this live stream. If you enjoy the content, please click the follow button, everyone. And if you want to watch the full live stream, go follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube. The link is in the bio. And I have a ton of all of my live streams are posted on there, guys, if you're looking for some new content to watch on there. I wonder if Holly ever came back. Holly never came back.
What's going on with it?
How you doing?
Man, I'm good. Hey, I just wanted to. I've been watching you, and I believe 100% that you do have some good arguments here. The reason I wanted to join is I used to be a Satanist, atheist, however you want to word it, non-believer, agnostic, whichever way you want to classify it, okay? Recently found that, okay, I might have been wrong because I misinterpreted a lot of things. And, sometimes I think a lot of our biggest problems as a person is we don't really understand exactly what someone is saying fully to the degree, because everything about communication is two parts. It's part hearing it, and then the other part is understanding it. So I like how you said, God supports slavery, and a lot of these people that claim to be religious Christian-y people didn't understand what God said, didn't even know these verses were there. And to me, I've always found that a Satanist or an atheist or an
So
agnostic,
do you disagree like that Christianity supports the following?
I do not disagree, but I disagree with
Okay, it says
agreeing. So what I'm saying
it
is,
says to join if you disagree. Join if you disagree, guys. Only send a guest request if you disagree, guys. Only send a guest request if you disagree, please.
All right. I would like to say something about the Moses.
Guys, you gotta be 18 plus too. Only send a guest request if you disagree, and please be 18 plus, guys. I don't think he was old enough.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
So first of all, I disagree with everything essentially.
You disagree?
Yep.
Okay. Where would you like to start
first
at?
of all, what do the commandments say? I mean, you have Google. You know what the commandments say.
I'm sorry, what?
Kill, don't commit adultery. Don't.
Yeah, God says don't murder, but then He goes and murders.
When?
In First Samuel 15:3, God commanded King Saul to go and unalive all the Amalekites and all of their babies.
Well, you need to take the context of what you're reading.
1 Samuel 15:3, right?
Quote.
God says don't murder in the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not murder, right? But then he turns around and tells King Saul to go and kill all the Amalekites and kill all their babies.
Quoted from the Bible. Which verses are they?
1 Samuel 15:3.
And
now go and fight against the Amalekites. You must completely destroy the Amalekites and everything that belongs to them. Don't let anything live. You must kill all the men and women and all of their children and little babies.
Well, that is written in the style called epica style. It's meant to show power. So when you read the Bible, you must understand its context. You must understand the way it's written, the literary form. If you don't understand the literary form,
God killed babies. I don't know. God killed babies. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, God gave us hands. I mean, the actions that were committed were not God's doings; they were our doings. So
God commanded this. God commanded this to happen.
Well, also apart from that, what apart from all this slavery, where has that happened?
In Leviticus 25, 44 through 46, God told the Israelites, his chosen people, that they can own non-Israelites as slaves for life.
Again, that is taken completely out of context.
What's the
When you
context?
read, when you read well, frankly, I
Give me
can't.
the context.
I don't know it at this
So,
moment.
oh, well, how do you know I'm missing context if you don't know what the context is?
Well, firstly, I know that first of all, God is loving. He would never do such things. Two,
The
I know
Bible
you're
says he
Muslim.
did. The Bible says he
I know,
did.
like you've cut people off and sent them
Samsung,
because they were right.
Samsung. The Bible
Yes.
says he did these things.
Well, first of all, how could I believe you? How do you expect me to believe you? The person who
Don't take my word for it. Go read your book. Don't take my word for it. Go read your book.
I
Go
will,
read your book. Don't take my word for it. Go read your book.
because I've heard a lot of about people like you who take shit out of context.
What's the context? Give me the context.
Again, as I said
Oh,
before,
you don't know it. Oh, you don't know it. So Samsung, here's what you just did. Samsung, this is what you just did, okay? Hey, you're missing context. Oh, okay. What's the context? Oh, I don't know.
well, you know the message is right when you know
What's
when
the
you
context, sir? Give me the context that you claim I'm missing, but you don't know what the context is. You're claiming that I'm missing something, and when I ask you for it, you're saying you don't know.
sir, you're deceptive, honestly.
No, you're deceptive. You're one claiming I'm missing context, but you can't give me what the context is. Don't fucking claim that I'm missing something, and then when I ask you for it, tell me that you don't know what it is. How are you going to tell somebody that they're missing something, but you don't know what it is they're missing? And don't take my word for it. Go read your fucking book. Go read your Bible. I don't expect you guys to believe what I say. Don't just believe me. Go read it. Go read what it says. The word slave means worker. You can try to church it up all you want to. Call them workers, call them butlers, call them maids, call them whatever you want to call them. It says you can own them for life. You can try and church it up all you want to, but it says you can own them for life. So church it up all you want. Still someone who's being owned as property for life. Hello?
Hello?
Don't try and church it up, Joel. Hello, Nate?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, so maybe we can walk through some of these things.
Okay.
How about you?
Where would you like to start at?
I'll let you pick.
Well, let's start with the first one, slavery. Do you disagree that God supports slavery?
I do, very much, yep.
Okay. So when God told the Israelites that they can own non-Israelites as slaves for life, you still hold the position that God is against slavery?
Well, look, you have to understand God's will. And you have to understand his personality in a way. And so that's what the Old Testament is pretty much trying to show us. Do you follow what I'm saying?
No, I don't. Your God supports
Okay.
slavery. Your God gave very specific rules and instructions to the Israelites on how to practice slavery. He says, if you want to own slaves, you must get the foreigners as slaves. The foreigners, you can own them for life, and you're allowed to beat your slave with a rod. You will not be punished for beating your slave with a rod as long as the slave does not die. If the slave recovers after a day or two, you will not be punished. God supports people being owned as property for life and beaten with a rod.
Okay, so in the book of Leviticus and Numbers and Deuteronomy, the people outside of Israel were practicing such things at a
Like what?
heinous, like slavery and murder and.
Wait, how is slavery heinous when God supports it?
Well, hold on. Let me continue.
Also, I'm going to need verses. I'm going to need verses for these claims as well.
Okay, well, this is just history.
No, I need. If it's not in the Bible, if it's not in the Bible, you're just making it up.
You don't have to look too far to know such.
Give me the verses that says that these foreigners were doing heinous acts. That's why they were allowed to be owned as slaves.
Okay, well, there is no Bible verse.
Okay, well then stop making shit up. Stop making shit up.
Okay.
You're just
Well,
trying to justify. You're just trying to justify the fact that your God supports
it's
slavery by saying, well, the reason God wants them to be owned as slaves is because they were doing terrible, awful things. They were doing heinous acts. And you're just trying to justify the fact that your God does support slavery by saying that it's justified because the people who were being owned as slaves were doing terrible things. And I'm asking you to provide the verses for that, and you're saying there is no verse.
no. It's not because the slaves are doing terrible things. So the people outside of
God,
Israel were. So God.
do you agree now? Do you agree now that God supports slavery?
Well, no, the Israelites, they wanted slaves. Like, they wanted a king. They wanted a judge. They didn't want God to be their God.
The Israelites didn't want anything like that. They had just been freed from slavery. They were wandering around in the
Yes,
desert.
they
Were
were free, and
wandering
then
around in the desert, and God appeared to Moses and gave them all kinds of rules and laws and regulations, including how to practice slavery.
right, but even in like Leviticus 11, or I think it was number 11. In Numbers 11, they're complaining about food. They say, hey, we don't got meat. We used to eat well in Egypt. We don't. And God gives them meat because they complain.
Show me the verse. Show me the verse. Show me the verse where the Israelites asked God for slaves.
It's not that they asked God for slaves.
They
It's that
never
they
asked
wanted
God for
slaves.
slaves. No, show me the verse that says the Israelites wanted slaves.
Well, I'd have to pull up my Bible.
There is no verse in the Bible that says that, hey, we want slaves. God, we want slaves.
Okay.
God
well,
appeared.
Give me
God
some time
appeared.
give me some time to pull up some Bible verses.
Yeah, go find the verses for all the bullshit claims you're making. But Nate, don't come back here if you don't find it, okay?
Of course. Yeah, that wouldn't be.
Don't come back here if you don't find the verse that says that the Israelites wanted slaves from God, like they were going to ask God for slaves. Don't come back here, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Spoiler alert: we will not see Nate again because that verse does not exist, so he will not be coming back here.
I just want to say you ate that. You ate that. You did that. You literally preached that.
What's 4 plus 4? 8. Hello?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
All right, I'm pretty good. I
Good.
I disagree with you.
Okay, where would you like to start?
Uh, Whatever you feel comfortable with, because
You
literally
you disagree that God supports slavery?
there's no mention of slavery in the Bible.
So in Leviticus 25:44 through 46, God told the Israelites they can own non-Israelites as slaves for life.
He told them they can own prisoners of war.
So what verse says that?
Prisoners of war.
What verse says that?
That verse you just read.
No,
You
it doesn't. No, it doesn't say they were prisoners of war.
you're reading a different version, and you're
Oh,
not.
okay. What version? What version says prisoners of war? I'll look.
What does the King James version of that verse? Read the King James version. Does it
Okay.
have the word slave?
It says you can own them for life.
Prisoners of war.
It
You
doesn't
are
say.
only
It
for
doesn't
life.
say. It doesn't say prisoners of war.
So, can I ask you a logical question?
Let me read it. Let me read it. Let me check. Let me
Go ahead.
check. I got the KJV here. I'm gonna read it. It does not say prisoners of war, and it does say you can own them for life. But let's read it, okay?
What own who for life? Read the word. Why?
The foreigners. Foreigners.
Okay. Where would they get these
God told the Israelites they can own non-Israelites, foreigners, as slaves for life. So you're saying that they're prisoners of
prisoners
war.
of war?
Yeah, give me the verse that says they're prisoners of war
Where would they get the slaves from, Skits?
from the foreign nations around them.
How would they get them, Skits? Are they
They go into the foreign nations and get them.
via war, right?
No, it
Did
doesn't
they
say
go in
that.
there?
It doesn't
Yeah,
say that.
it does, right?
No, where? Show me the verse. Show me the verse that
Skits,
says that.
Skits, you have an entire book of them
Show
going
me
in.
the verse that says that they
Skits,
were prisoners
you
of
want
war.
me to read the entire book of
No, I want
Joshua
one
to you?
verse. I'm not asking you for the entire book. I'm
Well,
asking for one.
you know, Skits, that they got these foreigners from prison as prisoners of
It doesn't
war
say that. It
when they
doesn't
were
say that.
conquering. It don't have. They don't have to say it, Skits. You
Well,
can
you're
read
just
the
making shit
entire
up.
book. I'm not
You're
making
just
it
making
up,
shit up.
Skits.
Give me the verse that
You
says that they
know
were
that
prisoners of
the
war.
entire book of Judges, Skits.
D
They were
D
in battles.
D. Give
They
me
were in
one
battles, and
verse.
they
D
won the battle, Skits.
D. Give me one verse that
The
says that these
entire book
D.
of Joshua. I will read it to you,
I want
Skits.
one verse that says that these foreigners were prisoners of war?
I want one verse that they were slaves, Skits.
Oh, okay. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen.
Bondmen, there you go,
Yeah,
Skits.
it says you can own them for
There you
life.
go, Skits.
They're
Not
owned for life.
slave.
It says they're owned for life.
Yes, Skits, they're prisoners of war. That's how they
Show
got.
me
That's how
where
they
it says they're
got
prisoners
them.
of war. Show
You
me
know
where it
that,
says it.
Skits. You know that logically. Don't do that.
No, it doesn't say they're prisoners of war.
Don't
It
do
does.
that, Skits.
Listen, here's what it. Listen.
He's giving
listen.
them rules of war when
It
they
does
go
not-
into the promised land, Skits. You know that.
D. You're making shit up. It does not say that they are prisoners of war.
Okay,
but
let's. Okay.
Hold on. It does not say that they are prisoners of war. But you know what it does say? It says that they're owned for life. That's all it says.
Yes, they are prisoners of war. So
where does it say that? Where does it say that?
Let's fast forward, Skits.
I want the verse. We're not going to move on until you give me the verse. I want the verse that says that.
It's the entire book, Skits.
No, give me one verse.
You know
give me
that.
one. D.
They went into a land. They conquered the people, and those people were their prisoners of war. Skits.
So D. Before I move on to the next guest, right here in Leviticus 25:44 through 46, where it says you can own non-Israelites as property for life. I want the verse that says that these non-Israelites were prisoners of war.
You're reading it.
No, I want the verse.
You're just trying.
This does not say anything about war. This does not talk about war anywhere in here. It does not talk about war anywhere in here, D.
You know that he's telling them.
You're muted, D. You keep muting yourself.
He's telling them instructions on how to conduct themselves after they conquer a foreign power in the promised land.
It does not say that.
Them.
It does not
and
say
you
that.
know that.
It does not say that.
It does say that.
Where? Show me where.
Would you like for me
Give
to
me
read
one
the entire
fucking
book?
verse, D. One fucking verse that says that these foreigners.
The book says it, Skits.
Okay, where? Where?
You can't spin it, Skits. It's
where,
right
D? Where does it say it?
After they conquer the Amalekites.
Where does it say it,
the
D?
Philistines.
Where?
They took them as prisoners as
Give me the verse. Give me the verse. Where does it say it?
Entire book, Skits.
Where? Where at?
Judges.
Judges what?
Samuel. You want to keep going?
Give me a verse.
Skits, I just gave you the entire book. The entire book is
where? Where can I find this in the book? Where can I find it?
You just read the instructions, Skits.
No, I want. Tell me where it says that they are prisoners of war, D.
You just read it.
Let's read it, and I want you to stop me. Hold on, I'm gonna read it. I want you to stop me when it says that they're prisoners of war. Stop me where it says that, okay? About your men and women slaves, you may get men and women slaves. From the nations around.
Let's go back to the King James version, not your version.
Well, okay.
Let's not go to the version you just made up. Let's read what the Bible says.
Okay, let's go to the KJV.
Yes, let's read what the Bible says. Not what you say.
Okay, I want you to stop me when it says that they're prisoners of war, okay? Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen. Skits. Hold on. I said to stop me when it says they're prisoners of war.
There you go, Skits. You just read
D,
it.
I said to stop me when it says that they're prisoners of war. Both thy bondmen, sir, listen, stop. Both thy bondmen and both thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are around about you. Of them ye shall buy bondmen and bondmaids. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them ye shall buy. And of their families they are with you, which they begat at in your land, and they shall be your possession. And you shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for possession. They shall be your bondmen forever. But over your brethren, the children of Israel, ye shall not rule over one another with rigor. It doesn't say anything about prisoners of war. It says this is about buying slaves. This is about going into the foreign nations around you and buying them. Nothing to do with prisoners of war. Now go ahead and unmute yourself and give me the fucking verse that says that these foreigners were prisoners of war, or stop making shit up.
Well, you just made that up. And
I just made what up? What did I just make up?
You're reading instructions on what to do with the people.
This is instructions on how to buy
land.
This is instructions. This is instructions on how to buy slaves from the foreign nations around you.
This is instructions on how to treat the people you will conquer in the promised land. That's what it is.
It doesn't say anything about that.
Sir, you just read the context.
No, it doesn't say anything about. All All it says is that you're going into foreign nations
Well,
and
watch.
buying slaves.
Oh, so where are they now, Skits? They're in the wilderness,
Where?
right? They
Who?
don't have land. They don't have land.
They're
They don't
wandering
have
around.
anything, Skits. They're in the wilderness. So he's giving instructions while they're in the wilderness. When you go to the promised
He's giving
land,
them instruction on how to practice slavery.
this is what's gonna happen after your warfare. That's
Where
it.
does it say that? Where does it say that?
He just gave you the instructions, Skits.
Where does it say that they are prisoners of war?
The instructions from the promised land. They are in the promised land. They're not.
Where does it say promised land? Where does it say promised land?
Wilderness.
Where does it say? Where does it say that they're going to go into the promised land and get these prisoners of war?
Go ahead and reverse your scriptures, Skit, and you will see it. Why is he giving them instructions, Skit?
How do I reverse the scripture? How do I do that?
Just read a couple chapters back, Skits. That's all you got to do.
Give me the verse, please.
Skits, you're reading it.
All right. You're wasting my time.
We know you're
wasting my fucking time. You guys, if you're going to come up here and make claims about the Bible, bring the scripture. Bring the scripture, guys. This has nothing to do with times of war. It's literally instructions on how to go and buy non-Israelites as slaves for life. Nothing to do with times of war. Who's in the background? Put them on. I'll cook them too.
Well, you there?
Yeah, I'll cook both of you.
Go ahead, kid.
Kentucky Fried Christians, 2-piece.
Shut up, man.
What do you want? What are you here to talk about?
Okay, so you say the whole so Christians support murder, yeah?
What? I can't understand your accent.
You can't.
Say it again.
You can't understand my accent.
You have it's a very awesome accent, but I'm having trouble understanding it. Did you say something about murder?
Yeah.
Okay. What about it?
Right. Tell me where it says. Tell me in the Bible where it says they don't support murder.
He does support murder.
No, wait. Tell me where they support murder. Then tell me where they support murder in the Bible.
1 Samuel 15:3. God commanded the Amalekite babies to be killed.
Well, in the Ten Commandments it says do not murder. So.
Yeah, God says.
Kill.
Yeah, God says do not murder, and then he turns around and says go murder.
Oh my God.
1 Samuel 15:3. God commanded King Saul and his army to go and slaughter the Amalekite babies.
Well, you know, fair enough.
Okay.
Hey, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
I see that you have slavery, rape, and murder. I just scrolled by and seen this and was like,
do you disagree?
Hop in here and say something. I do. Now,
okay.
Jesus is the truth, the way, and the life. Now, I don't believe that Jesus would go out of his way to just murder some babies. You know what I mean? Now, yes.
Wait. Is Jesus God?
Jesus is not God, no.
Jesus is not God.
He is a.
We're not talking about. We're not talking about Jesus. We're talking about God.
Okay. Well, what does God have to do with murdering babies?
God commanded King Saul and his army to go and kill the Amalekite babies in 1 Samuel 15:3.
Well, if you think of Jesus is the truth, the way, and the life, and who's above Jesus?
We're not talking about if Jesus isn't God, then I don't care about him. I don't want to talk about.
Okay, then let's not talk about Jesus. Okay, we talk about.
I want to talk about I want to talk about your God. Your God.
He's the higher power. He is higher than you. He created you. He brought you here on earth, right? So he knows what's best, not just for you, but for this world. Now, I'm sure that he wouldn't just send people to go murder some babies because he thinks that's the normal thing to do. I'm sure he had a reason.
He had a good. Okay,
I don't know anything about that. But
Joe. Okay, God had a good reason for doing this, and who are you to question God, right?
Yep, facts.
Okay, so if God were to reveal himself to you in a way that you were absolutely certain it was him, and he commanded you to go to your neighbor's house and kill their babies, you would follow that command because he's higher above you. He has a good reason. He has a good reason.
Without doubt.
Yeah, so you're a red flag. You're dangerous.
If he told me to kill myself, I'm killing myself because he knows what's right for me, and I don't need to worry.
That's incredibly sad. That is incredibly sad and scary. Like that we have to live with these people. That guy could be your neighbor, right? In 1 Samuel 15:3, God commanded Saul to go into the neighboring Amalekites and kill their babies. That guy just said that if God revealed himself to him and commanded him to go to his neighbor's house and kill their babies, he would do it. Like, this is the problem we all have with you Christians, right? You guys are always crying and complaining about why we're being persecuted, why we're being mocked, because sometimes your beliefs are violent and dangerous. That is somebody's neighbor. Like, their neighbor has no idea that their next door neighbor, if they heard a little voice in his head, he would go over to his neighbor's house and kill their kids. That could be somebody's coworker, somebody you have to see every day. And it's actually like frightening how many of you out there would actually follow that command.
All right. Where or like so that verse you're quoting to every single time?
Listen, you got to be 18 plus, guys. You got to be 18 plus.
Hey man, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine. I hope you have a nice day. Yeah, I'm an ex-Christian, and I just wanted to speak on the person earlier on. It's crazy how D was trying to justify a Bible that was used to enslave his own ancestors. It's just crazy. I don't know how
I know.
Christians
Yeah,
like
it
have.
is. It's very sad to see that.
Yeah. And the main verses that made me leave Christianity was it wasn't actually Samuel 15:3. It was verses where God commanded the grape of women to Moses in Numbers 31:17, 18, Deuteronomy 21:10, 14. The Bible is just a horrific book.
Yeah, we've
And
been talking about those verses all day.
yeah, and it's not even if you forget about the verses as well. Let's just talk about from a logical perspective that if you look at the Roman and Greek influence in Christianity and look at all these pagan festivals and things like that, and Christians claim to be totally against this. Even the Trinity is taken from pagans, and things like these just make you doubt your faith. And this is what made me leave Christianity. And I don't know how anyone can believe in this horrific belief.
I'm with you. I'm right there with you, and I'm very glad that you were able to leave this toxic faith, this toxic religion.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt, and I'm liking what you're doing. Keep keep it up. Stay strong, and you have a good account and a good life.
Thank you. You too. I hope you have a good life as well. Thank you so much for the support, and thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Hello?
Yo, it's good. I'm gay.
You got to be 18 plus to be on here, guys. He was so happy about it. There was nothing wrong with that, right?
All right, hello.
How old are you?
18.
All right, what's up?
All right, God gave me a message. He told me to tell you a bitch ass nigga.
I remember my first prank call. I remember my first prank call. See, back in my day, we didn't have like TikTok lives. We had to like call people's houses and like prank them. But like kids today, there's no more landlines, right? So kids today, they just get on TikTok and like prank people in the guest requests.
What's up with mine?
How you doing?
Shit, no, smoking a fat ass wood to the face, man. Hold on, cuz don't exit out.
Oh man, school must have let out. I thought it was summertime.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello. So I want to quickly say.
How old are you?
Huh?
How old are you?
19.
I don't believe you.
You sure?
Yeah, I don't believe you. Sorry. Keep tapping the likes, guys. Keep tapping the likes. Everyone, click the follow button, guys. If you've enjoyed this live stream, please consider subscribing to my YouTube. The link's in the bio, guys. If you want to watch the full live stream, go Go follow my YouTube. I have all my full live streams on there. Hold on, guys. Bear with me. I'm trying to get some guest requests in here.
Meow.
Ow. Champ. What the fuck? Where are all these kids coming from, Champ? Champ. Go lay down, Champ. Go lay down, Champ.
Hey.
Hello? Hello, how you doing?
Hey, so I'm interested on the verse about murder in Samuel.
1 Samuel 15:3.
Yeah. Did you read the verses before that?
Yeah, what does it say?
It says in verse 2, "Thus says the Lord of hosts, I have noted what Amalek did to Israel in opposing them on the way when they came up out of Egypt."
Yeah, what did the babies do?
The babies did nothing, but it's more the sins of the fathers and mothers.
Yeah, I have a problem with your God punishing babies for things they didn't do.
Well,
Thank you for the join my team.
Okay.
That's murder. It's unjustified.
Well, did you know in the Bible it says that babies under the age of like understanding go to heaven?
Where?
Is it without sin? I'll get the verse
verse?
for you.
It's okay, guys. The babies are going to heaven. The babies are going to heaven. It's totally fine to kill the babies. They're going to heaven. Guys, everyone abort all your babies. Let's just have all the abortions. Why risk the chance of the baby going to hell? Don't let the baby have a chance of growing up and going to hell. Just abort the baby and send it straight to heaven. Send the baby straight to heaven. Have an abortion.
2 Corinthians 5:8.
What does it say?
Here, I got you.
Champ. Are you there? Champ, go lay down. Oh, he left. Let me. 2 Corinthians. That's not even a. Hold on a second. 2 Corinthians. What do you say? 5:8. So I say that we have confidence and we really want to be away from this body and be at home with the Lord. 2 Corinthians 5:8. So I say that we have confidence and we really want to be away from this body and be at home with the Lord. I don't think that means what he thinks it means. Keep tapping the likes, guys. Keep tapping the likes.
Okay. Look, don't.
Wait. Okay, I'll listen to you, but
out.
just give me. Hold on. I'll listen to you, but just give me a second here.
All right.
And just 1 second, and you're blocked. You gotta be 18 plus, guys. You gotta be 18 plus. Gotta be 18 plus, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Matthew
Hold on.
19:26.
Hold on. You gotta be 18 plus. You gotta be 18 plus. School must have just let out. I thought it was summertime already. I thought schools. When did schools let out for summer? Get these kids out of here, Lord. Hello?
I think you should shut the fuck up about your stupid ass conspiracy theories, buddy.
Who's raising these damn kids? Who's raising these little hellhounds? Who is raising these little hellhounds? Hello?
Hello.
How you doing?
Without God, good and evil doesn't matter.
I'm sorry, can you start over?
Said without a God, good and evil doesn't matter.
I can't understand what you're saying. Say it again slowly.
Said without a God, good and evil doesn't matter.
Without a God, good and evil
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
yeah.
Okay, congratulations. What would you like to talk about?
Slavery.
So God told the Israelites that they're allowed to own non-Israelites as slaves for life.
What about murder?
1 Samuel 15:3, God commanded Saul to go and kill all the Amalekite babies.
The Amalekites were evil people.
The Amalekite babies were evil.
But God knows what's best.
God knows what's best. So if God appeared to you and commanded you to kill a baby, you would do it.
No, that bro, no.
But
That's
God
not
knows.
right.
But God knows best. God knows best, right?
Yeah,
So if
yeah,
God commanded you, if God appeared to you and commanded you to kill a baby, He knows best. You would do it.
yeah, sure.
Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. God knows best, guys.
Yo,
How old are you?
well, none of that matters. Just please follow some. Just get Jesus in your life.
Oh, I'm gonna get Jesus in my life. All right. Hello.
Oh, sorry, bro.
How old are you? All right, guys. We're running out of steam here. We're running out of steam. Keep tapping those likes, guys. Click the follow button, guys. If you've enjoyed this live stream, please click the follow button. And please go subscribe to my YouTube, guys. Everyone follow me on my YouTube. The link's in the bio. I don't know who's been waiting the longest here, guys, so I'm just clicking randomly here. Joyful, thank you for the sub. Thank you for sending out the sub, Joyful. Thank you so much. Hello?
Hello.
How you doing?
Pretty good yourself?
I'm good, thank you.
Do I have an echo?
No.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Not really big on the Bible personally, but I am curious on where the second one pops up.
So I would argue that in Numbers 31:17 through 18, God commands his soldiers to capture young little virgin girls and as brides, and that's not consensual. That would be considered grape, in my opinion. And in Deuteronomy 21:10 through 14, God says if you're out in a battle and you see a beautiful woman, you can take her into your home where she will mourn for her parents for 30 days, and then you can go into her and make her your wife.
That is insane. And thank you for giving me those points.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome.
I don't have any other points, so I will drop so you can bring somebody else up here.
All right, well, thanks for coming on here. Appreciate it.
Thank
He said, that is insane. Yeah, the God of the Bible is awful, guys. The God character of the Bible is a fucking bloodthirsty, violent maniac.
Yo.
Yo, what up, bro?
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, bro. How you?
I'm good, man.
All right, so like, I wanna question like, where do you stand on this? Like, what are you like? Like, what type of religion are you? You're like, are
I'm
you
an
an atheist or?
I'm an atheist. I don't believe in any. I'm not convinced any gods are real.
All right, yeah. So like, I see you got like slavery, rape, and murder on here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, is this from the Old Testament or the New Testament?
Slavery is condoned in both the Old Testament and the New Testament, but as far as like the graping and the murdering, it's mainly Old Testament.
Yeah, I know. Like I've been studying the Bible and stuff, and like I don't know, but like sometimes it's like out of context. You feel me? Because like it been like back then, and like that used to be normal back then for them. So like for like rape, I say like, can you tell me something about rape that you have down or something?
So, like in Numbers 31, 17 through 18, God commands soldiers to capture young virgin girls as brides, and it's not consensual. It says to kill all the boys, all the women who have had sexual relations with a man. You can let all the young girls live, but only if they've never had sexual relations with any man. And also in Deuteronomy 21, verses 10 through 14, it talks about if you're in battle and you see a beautiful woman, you desire her for a wife, you can kill her family, take her to your house where you will shave her head, cut off her nails, cut her clothes off, and she will mourn for her parents for 30 days, and then you can go into her and make her your wife.
All right, can you tell me about the Deuteronomy one again? Like which Bible verse is it?
Deuteronomy 21, 10 through 14.
All right.
I'll just read it. When you go out to battle against those who hate you, and the Lord your God gives them to you, and you make them go with you, and you see a beautiful woman and have a desire for her as a wife, bring her home to your house. There she will cut off all her hair from her head and cut her nails. She will change the clothes she wore when you took her away and stay in your house. She will have sorrow for her father and mother for 1 month. After that, you may go into her and be her husband, and she shall be your wife.
All right, you said chapter 20, right?
Deuteronomy chapter 21, yeah.
Chapter 21, verse 10. All right.
Yeah, 10 through
Just
14.
because I can't find these things on the Bible. All right.
This is literally kidnapping and raping a woman.
All right, so it says, when you go out to war against your enemies, and the Lord your God delivers them into your power, so that you take captives. If you see a beautiful woman among the captives, and you become, I don't know what that word is, of her that you wish to have her as your wife, and so you take her home to your house. She must shave her head, cut off her nails, lay aside her captive grab, and stay in your house, mourning for her father and mother for a full month. After that you may come to her, and you shall be her husband, and she shall be your wife. If later on you lose your liking for her, you shall give her freedom. If she wishes it, you must not sell her for money. Do not enslave her, since you have violated her. All right, and then
That's
that's
literally
that's the one
kidnapping.
that says marriage with a female captive. So like,
Yeah, you literally kidnap this woman after her parents have been killed, and you take her to your house and go into her and make her your wife. And then if she doesn't please you, you can toss her out. Toss
all
her out
right,
on
yeah.
her.
So like, where I stand on this is like people can take it many different ways. You know, like you take it a different way. You know, like
How
you're
do
at
wait,
this.
wait, wait? You don't take that as kidnapping and
It's
raping this
because like you
woman?
got to look to it in context for real.
Wait,
When
you
you look
don't
at this,
take
this
that?
is
Hold
the
on,
enemy.
Chris.
What up? What up? Yeah, yeah.
You don't take that as kidnapping and raping a woman?
I'm leaning into the context right now. I'm trying to understand the context, not just trying to like, oh yeah, that's what it says, so it must be that. You know,
How
I'm
do you,
trying to like look around for like that's what the Bible is mostly. Like you got to
well, what do you
understand the
think that? What
context
do you
of it.
think is happening here? Everything
All
you
right.
just read,
So
all
like
the
it's
verse.
basically saying when you go to war against your enemies, right? You capture one of their, I don't know what it says, like one of their like wives or son or like daughters. All right, so like basically like this is in the Old Testament, right? So God in the Old Testament, like people saw him as a warrior. All right, so like he used to like wage wars against like the Canaanites and stuff, and like since like they worship, I think they worship Baal or some Baal or some whatever his name is, but like they was in their land, the promised land that God had given to them for real. And then like what they try to do, like God told them like y'all need to go take that land for real. All right, so like they went in there and like through the whole Old Testament, like everybody saw God as a warrior. And like if you're a warrior, you know, if you're a king, like you're trying to like get your land and stuff, and you don't like the enemies, what are you gonna do? Like you don't
So
like the
you
enemies.
agree? So you
Are you gonna
agree?
let the enemies live, or like you don't like them?
So you agree that God
No, I
is
do not agree with that. Like I would never do
well?
that, but like
Well, no.
but
Listen,
like
let me speak here. Let me speak.
yeah, I got you, I got
Well,
you.
what do you think was happening there in the verses you just read? What do you think that was?
So it could be rape. Yeah, let me read it again.
The woman was kidnapped and taken into this man's home, and he came to her and made her his wife. He went into her.
All right, it says here.
Some translations say he went into her. Some translations say he came to her.
Yeah.
This is literally a woman who's been kidnapped and
If you
taken to
see
her
a beautiful
house.
woman among the captives and become so enamored for her, you wish to have her as your wife, and you so take her home to your house. She must shave her head, cut off her nails, lay aside her captive grab, and stay in your house, mourning her father and mother for a whole month. After that you may come to her, and you shall be her husband, and she shall be your wife. If later on you lose your liking for her, you shall give her her freedom. If not wishes, you must sell her for money. Do not enslave her, since you have violated her. All right, so there it says that you have violated her. All right, so
She has been captured and graped.
Yep.
And this is what God supports. This is what God says you're allowed to do.
Yeah, but it doesn't say yeah, I get you with that. Like you say, like it says that you can do that, right? But like it's not saying that you can do it with like anyone. Like let's say if I walk the street, I'm like, oh,
He
I should
supports
race.
it. He supports it. That's why I say God supports grape, because this is what God says you're allowed to do.
But that's against the enemy. So like
that's fine.
if
That's
I'm
fine.
walking
Whatever you
down,
want to
like,
call them. If you want to call them enemies, it's fine. God supports graping. God supports his soldiers graping his enemies' wives or daughters or whatever. It's totally fine if you want to say that.
All right, and then I want to talk about murder. What do you have on murder?
So in 1 Samuel 15:3, God commanded King Saul to go and to kill all their Amalekite babies, all the Amalekites and their infants and little children. That's unjustified murder. Keep tapping the likes, guys. Keep tapping the likes. Everyone click the follow button, guys. And follow me on YouTube, guys. Link is in the bio. Go subscribe to my YouTube, guys. Go check my YouTube out. I got my the full live stream on there.
Hello?
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Are you there?
Right here. I got a verse for you.
So, okay, Techno, if you swipe up out of the app, we can't hear you.
Okay, sorry.
Do you disagree with the following here?
Slavery, grape, murder. Do I disagree?
Do you disagree that Christianity supports the following?
It does support it. All of the Abrahamic religions support it.
Yeah, it says join if you disagree. So guys, make sure that you actually disagree before you send a guest request, okay? Please only send a guest request if you disagree that Christianity supports the following. And you got to be 18 plus, and please don't be driving, guys. Don't be driving, and you got to be 18 plus, and only send a guest request if you disagree that Christianity supports the following. Hello? Hello, Nick?
Yo, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hello? Okay. I've been watching this for a bit here, and I just want to say that like I'm a little as a Christian, I'm a little disappointed in like the Christians that have come up here to like kind of debate this with you because it's hard to say, but I feel like a lot of them have not really read the Bible in full, and I feel like that's not something that Christians need to be.
All right, where would you like to start?
So let's start with the murder. I think that's the easiest one to kind of combat. So
Okay.
I know your verse for this that you bring up is 1 Samuel 15:3, correct?
Yeah, that would be like my main issue with
The
as far
main
as
one, yeah. What
like Amalekite
version?
babies.
Yeah, I'll just ask you, what version of the Bible do you read? Like what
I
translation?
I don't have I don't care what translation. I just literally have these pulled up on Google here.
Okay, well it does matter. That's even better if you have it on Google though. So if you can look up,
I'll go to whatever translation you prefer.
go to King James version just for like the sake of
It
like actually.
still says they killed
No,
babies.
I understand, but there are a lot of like I'm just saying King James is the closest to the original Israelite.
It still says that they kill babies.
I understand. I understand.
Every single translation says that the babies were killed.
Okay, all right, let's read through it. So it says, "Now go smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, whew, infant and suckling. Oh my goodness, ox and sheep, camel and ass." Now, that sounds rough. You're not going to get the argument from me, the Christian. But I think what is important when reading anything is to read the context, which I heard somebody bring up context and then they proceeded to just bumble their words,
Okay.
and I was kind of
Okay. Well,
concerned with that.
keep in mind that I have a very specific issue with the Amalekite babies being killed. But yeah,
Okay.
go ahead and give the context.
So with the context, and listen, you're not going to catch me. I mean, pro life, all there is. You're not going to catch me vouching for dead babies. It says that, but
Actually, because this is a good and righteous command from God, right?
this is a good and righteous commandment to Saul, to King Saul.
Yeah. So it was a good and righteous command from God to kill these babies.
To King Saul, yes.
Yeah. So
God wouldn't.
So you actually think it was so as a pro-lifer, you actually think this was a good thing.
I think that it is what King Saul was commanded to do by the God that he followed.
And what was he commanded? What was he commanded to do? To kill people and baby.
So here's the thing.
So as a pro-lifer, you think this was a good and righteous command that these babies were killed?
Let's get to that. All right. Let's actually have a conversation here. I'm not here for debate.
I just thought that was funny. I just thought it was funny how you were like, I'm a pro-lifer and you'll never get me vouching for killing babies, but you're actually doing that right now.
No, I'm vouching for people to read the actual scripture.
You literally are vouching for these babies to be killed as a pro-lifer.
Okay, I can tell the maturity level is really there. Let's.
You're just getting called out on the hypocrisy of your pro-life stance. You're getting called out on the hypocrisy of your pro-life stance here.
Do you see something that's happening here? Is I'm letting you, the tolerant satanic person, speak, and whenever I talk,
I'm not a Satanist. I'm an atheist.
Whenever I talk, you interrupt.
I don't believe in.
Whenever I talk, you interrupt me. Do you see
as
what happens here? This is
as
why
a pro-lifer, is it always wrong to kill babies?
I think that as a pro-lifer, it is wrong for us in the current society, current day, to kill babies.
Even when God commands it.
Has God commanded you, or has God commanded me to kill babies? No. So
no,
yes,
I asked you if it's always wrong to kill babies.
I think so.
Even when God commands it.
I think if God commands you to do something, and this is my religion, I think if God commands you to do something, that you should do it.
That's not what I asked you. I asked you is it always wrong to kill babies? You said yes, and I asked you even when God commands it.
Okay, I'll play into the game a little bit. Yes, if God commanded me to take a baby and kill it, then yes, I would do it. But so far,
that's very pro-life of you. Very pro-life.
So far, God has not.
Commanded me to kill a baby. 60 seconds ago, you said, "Listen, I'm pro-life, and I'm not going to vouch for killing babies." And here we are, 60 seconds later, saying that you would kill a baby.
So here's your plan.
That took a wild turn.
I can kind of figure it out. If you want to do
that took a really wild turn there, guys. A really wild turn from that pro-lifer. He literally said, "I'm pro-life, and I will never vouch for killing babies." And then within about 60 seconds, he literally said, if God commanded him to kill a baby, he would do it. That's a wild turn. Interesting plot twist there. Very interesting plot twist.
Fuck you, bitch ass nigga.
Oh, that's cute. I remember my first prank call. Keep tapping the likes, guys. I just hate the hypocrisy of pro-life, like, especially pro-life Christians. I hate the hypocrisy of pro-life Christians. Hello?
Yo.
Yo, what's up?
I don't support slavery, rape, or murder, and I'm Christian.
Well, do you disagree that Christianity supports the following?
Yeah, I do disagree with that.
Okay, where would you like to start at? You want to start with the slavery?
Let's start with real life. Like, yeah, sure, any subject, yeah.
What? Start with real life?
No, I don't know what you meant by when I cut you off, but yeah, start with slavery.
So slavery, like God told the Israelites they're allowed to own non-Israelites as slaves for life.
And when was that?
In Leviticus 25, 44 through 46.
Does that stand now?
It's your God. Your God never changes.
Does that stand now though? Like, do we as Christian or the Christian?
Well, in America we abolished slavery, so it's illegal. But your God supports slavery. That's the whole thing. Like, do you disagree that God supports slavery, sir?
Yeah, like slavery and.
You disagree that God supports slavery, even though He told the Israelites they're allowed to own non-Israelites as slaves for life.
Well, the language was a little different then. I'm not you're probably gonna transfer them. I'm not driving, but I just turned my truck on. But
You still hold the position that God does not support slavery, even though He gave very specific rules and instructions and regulations to the Israelites on how to practice slavery, including how to beat your slave.
Oh, you know what? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes. All right. It's showing you have a bad connection. You're having some connection issues there. It's probably because the phone connected to the Bluetooth in your truck, probably.
What up, boy?
What's up, man?
Do you like dick?
Maybe I do. What's wrong with that?
Everything.
Why? Why is it wrong?
Original design and order from our God.
How do you know that?
How do I know that? Because that's the way He created us. Like,
how do you know that?
Oh, so like, for example, like women produce eggs, men produce sperm. You know.
No. How do you know that God designed us that way?
Well, who else?
I didn't ask you to ask me a question. I asked you to tell me how you know that God designed us that way.
How do you know God didn't?
Stop asking me questions and tell me how you know that God designed me that way.
Because think of order and design. Nothing can't come.
I didn't tell you to ask. I didn't ask you to tell me what order and design is. I asked you to tell me how you know that God designed us.
Because I'm getting.
Because is not an answer.
I'm getting to it. So
well, please answer it.
Well, okay. Well, if you don't want to get into the design,
So now you want to run away from that. Now you want to run away from that?
In that way.
All right, whatever. He's just a homophobe. That's all he is.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, just eating.
Cool. Do you disagree that Christianity supports the following?
I do disagree.
All right, where would you like to start?
Slavery.
Okay, you disagree that God supports slavery?
Yes.
Okay, God told the Israelites that they can own non-Israelites as slaves for life.
Okay, and also, my Christian ancestors were Jews, and they were slaves to the Egyptians.
I don't need your life story. God told the Israelites they're allowed to own non-Israelites as slaves for life. So do you still think God disagrees? You still disagree? You still disagree that God supports slavery?
And Abraham came and freed them under the righteousness of God. So
No,
how are you going to say that
Moses came to free God's. Moses came to free God's chosen people, the Israelites, and then turned around and told them they are allowed to have slaves.
What? No.
Yes. In Leviticus 25, 44 through 46, God told Moses and the Israelites they're allowed to own non-Israelites as slaves for life, and they're allowed to beat their slaves.
So they're allowed to have them for life?
Yeah. About your men and women slaves, you may get men and women slaves from the nations around you. Also, you can get children as slaves if they come from the families of the foreigners living in your land. These child slaves will belong to you. You may even pass these foreign slaves on to your children after you die, so that they will belong to them. They will be your slaves forever. You may make slaves of these foreigners, but you must not be a cruel master over your own brothers, the Israelites. So God told the Israelites they're allowed to own non-Israelites as slaves for life. Foreigners. You can own foreign slaves for life. So now that you know this, now that you know that God gave specific instructions to the Israelites on how to practice slavery, do you still hold the position that God does not support slavery?
Yeah, that is the Old Testament.
Sir,
I'm telling you, you have to listen to me.
Sir, your God's morality
That is the Old Testament. The Old Testament doesn't apply to nowadays.
Your God's morality never changes. Your God is the same today, tomorrow, and yesterday. All that bullshit. Whatever your God thinks.
Hasn't changed, but we've changed.
Oh, okay, but the question is, does God support slavery? Right. The question is, does God?
Doesn't.
Yes, He does. God gave very specific rules and
Is there
instructions on how to
slavery in
practice
this
slavery.
day right now in present time?
Yes, there's more slaves. There's more slaves today on Earth than there ever have been in human recorded history. By the way, but the fact is, like, your God's morality never changes. So whatever your God thought was morally permissible back then is still morally permissible. And one of the things that your God thinks is morally permissible is slavery. Your God told the Israelites that they were allowed to practice slavery on the non-Israelites, on foreigners. Your God supports slavery. Your God condones slavery. Your God sanctions slavery and authorizes it to his chosen people. Now that you know this, do you still hold the stupid position that God does not support slavery?
I'm telling you, that is the Old Testament, my friend, not the New Testament.
I know this, but it's still your God.
That is the Old Testament.
Does God
That was
support
before
slavery? Yes or
Jesus
no?
came down here to earth
Is
and did the
Jesus God?
ultimate sacrifice.
Is Jesus
Yeah,
God?
Jesus is
Okay.
God.
If Jesus is God, then Jesus supports slavery in the Old Testament.
No, he doesn't, because if he would have supported slavery, he would have had slaves following him around.
Jesus never spoke out against slavery, by the way. And slavery is condoned in the New Testament as well. In Ephesians, in the book of Ephesians 6:5, it says, slaves, obey your earthly masters the same way you would obey Christ. Nowhere in the entire Bible does it ever speak out against slavery.
You're nitpicking certain things, and you're taking things out of
Your
context.
God supports
like the guy that
slavery.
was before me
Sir,
said.
sir,
Somebody
sir,
tells you
how can you
something,
sit there? How can you sit there and say that your God does not support slavery when he gives instructions and rules and regulations on to the Israelites on how to practice it?
Look,
He says
right
you can
here.
have slaves for life.
Look.
This is incredibly frustrating. We can't hear you. You got to come back to the app. You got to come back to the app. Come back to the app. We can't hear you.
In Deuteronomy, you said that they support gang rape and everything and all that, right?
Hold on. Why are you pivoting away from this? We're still on the slavery.
Because that's what I was going to talk about, but you brought up slavery, so I just went with it.
I asked you, where do you want to start? And you said you pick. So I started at the top, slavery. But we can move on to that. Now that you acknowledge that, yes, God does support slavery, we can move past that now. You want to talk about gRape now? You got to stay in the app. All right, listen, I can't. Stop swiping out. If you're going to keep swiping out of the app, I'm just going to move on. Because we can't hear you if you swipe out of the app.
Hey.
Hello?
Hello.
How old are you?
I'm 17, about to be 18 in a week.
All right, I'm sorry. You got to be 18 plus, guys. You got to be 18 plus. I have enough time for maybe 2 more guests, guys. Everyone keep spamming the likes right now. Click the follow button. Everybody share the live. Let's see if we can get maybe just 2 or 3 more guests in here, guys. Please be 18 plus, and please don't be driving. And please only send a guest request if you disagree that Christianity supports the following there. I've got 26 guest requests. TikTok does not put you guys in order, so I'm just clicking randomly here.
Hello?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. Thank you.
All right, cool. So let's go ahead and just dive right into all 3. So what is your argument? I just kind of joined the live right now. So you're saying that the Christian God supports slavery, gRape, and murder, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. So what scriptures are you reading from that talking about slavery?
So in slavery, I would be specifically referring to Leviticus 25, 44 through 46, where God told the Israelites that they could have non-Israelites as slaves for life. They can own foreigners for slaves as slaves for life, and also he sanctions beating your slave. As long as you don't kill the slave, you can beat your slave.
Okay, so that's pretty much the same thing that happened in everybody's slave trade. So that's cool and all. Now, what about gRape?
Well, hold on. So you don't disagree that God supports slavery. You do agree that God does support slavery.
I don't believe that God supports slavery. I do believe this is what
God gave.
One
hold
second.
on.
Give me a second. Give me a second. So this is what I do believe. I do believe that the Christian Bible has been misconstrued and changed because they did rip out pages, they did rip out books. So there's a lot of information that is missing from the Christian Bible. However, recognizing that if you take a world's religions class and you look at all religions equally, you'll recognize that they're all interconnected, the same way how all consciousness is interconnected with the entire universe. So,
is the Bible reliable?
It is. It is.
So even though
It
Even
depends
though
on which context you're looking at it.
Even though the Bible has been modified and have pages ripped out of it and they're missing parts, it's still reliable.
Yes, because that's like saying that the Quran is not reliable for Muslims. You see what I'm saying? So
if the Bible is reliable, then in this reliable book that you claim is reliable, it says that God supports slavery.
Okay, so go ahead.
Do you acknowledge now that God does indeed support slavery?
Well, God doesn't support slavery because
so let's do it again. Let's start over.
You have to hold on. You have to give people a chance to actually speak, sir. So, what's your name? Skits and Bits. All right, cool. So I've watched some of your videos, right? You're actually very
sir.
Hold on. Okay, so go ahead.
Let's do the debate here. I don't care about my videos. Cool. Okay.
Right,
how can you sit there with a straight face and say that God does not support slavery when I've just showed you verses where God indeed does support slavery?
Because you're talking about the Christian God. You're talking about
yes. This is for Christians. Are you not a Christian?
No,
sir. This is for you. Do you disagree? But you do disagree that the Christian God supports slavery? Thank you, Seth, for the $6.66 on Cash App. Thank you, Seth. I really appreciate you, man.
I do not believe that the Christian God supports slavery.
Okay, in the Bible, God told the Israelites they were allowed to own non-Israelites as slaves for life. Would you like me to read you the verse?
Go ahead.
Okay, about your men and women slaves, you may get men and women slaves from the nations around you. Also, you can get children as slaves if they come from the families of the foreigners living in your land. These child slaves will belong to you. You may even pass these foreign slaves onto your children after you die so that they'll belong to them. They will be your slaves forever. You may make slaves of these foreigners.
Okay, so check this out, right? So let's talk about something really quick, just to piggyback off of what you just said, right? That's Leviticus what now?
25, 44 through 46. That is God sanctioning slavery. That is God supporting slavery to his chosen people.
Okay, no. That is God telling his people to get slaves so that way work can be easier because they have went
So God supports slavery.
No, God does not.
You just said God told his people to go get slaves.
So check this out. Where did everything start from?
Sir, can you not pivot away from this? You just said God told his people.
I'm black. I can't pivot away from slavery. My people went through it.
You just said that God told his people to go get slaves, and now you're saying God does not support slavery when you just said he told them to go get slaves.
Okay, so if he tells his people to go get slaves, what is his reason?
To own them for life.
No.
It says you can own them for life.
They are workers. The same way how
listen, you can try to church it up. You can call them workers. You can call them butlers. You can call them maids. You can church it up all you want to. It says you can own them for life.
Trade, because there were Irish people that were slaves as well, the same way how African people were slaves as well. Now, all I'm saying is they were supposed to be workers.
They weren't workers. They weren't paid. They were literally owned as property for life.
Okay, so... Well, what do you say to the KKK burning crosses?
Can you stop pivoting? Can you stop pivoting?
I'm not pivoting. This is the same conversation. The same conversation tailored to the same exact topic. Now we're still on slavery.
Yeah, and we're trying to find out whether God supports it or not. And I'm in favor of God that yes, God does support it. You're saying no, God doesn't support it. But
okay,
if you look at
you're saying God as a general statement. Now I thought we were talking about
the Christian God.
The Christian God, correct.
It says Holy Bible. We're talking about the Bible. We're talking about Christianity. We're talking about the Christian God.
Okay, so you're talking about the Christian God specifically.
Oh my God.
What? Are you gonna take me off? You're getting frustrated now.
Because you're not. I don't even know why you're
trying to be fair with you, sir.
How has it not been obvious to you this entire time that we're talking about the Christian God?
Okay, cool. So
I've literally read scriptures. We've been talking for like 5 minutes, and I've read scriptures.
What about the Judaism?
Hold on, Zion. We've been talking for like 5, 6, 7 minutes right now, and I've read you scriptures from the Christian Holy Bible. I've talked to you about the Christian God, and 60 seconds ago you said, "Are you talking about the Christian God?"
Okay, so watch this.
You're not paying attention, obviously, because it's very clearly talking about the Christian God.
Very much so paying attention.
Well, if you were paying attention, then you wouldn't have asked that stupid question.
That wasn't a stupid question.
It was a stupid question. If we've been talking about Christianity,
we've
been talking about Christianity for the past 7 fucking minutes, and you asked me, "Are you talking about the Christian God?" That is a stupid question. That is a stupid question to ask when we've been talking about Christianity for the past 7 fucking minutes. We've been reading scriptures from the Holy Bible for the past 7 fucking minutes. We've been talking about God in the Christian Bible, in the Christian religion for the past 7 minutes. And 60 seconds ago, you asked me, are you talking about the Christian God? That is a stupid question. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Zyron. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay. Are you ready? All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Cool. So yes, we've been sitting here talking about the Christian God, right? Now that does not refrain from the mere fact that the Christian God is also the same as the Catholic God. Because
Catholics are Christians.
Thank you. Thank you. So that's something that we agree on.
I don't know why we're even talking about this. We're talking about whether God supports slavery or not. I'm telling you that God gave very specific rules and instructions on how to practice slavery. If God didn't support slavery, he would have told the Israelites, hey, don't have slaves. The same way he said, don't eat shellfish, don't wear mixed fabrics, don't lie, don't disobey your parents. If God didn't want any of those things to happen, he would have said, don't do it. But he never says don't own slaves. In fact, the opposite. He says you're allowed to have slaves. You know why he says you're allowed to have slaves? Do you know why he says you're allowed to have slaves?
Why does he say that?
Because he supports slavery.
That's still okay. Why does the Christian God support slavery? Let me ask that. That's a better question. Why do you?
Because he's immoral.
Okay, so hold on. So, what is the name of the Christian God, if you know?
That's irrelevant to the discussion. We're talking about whether God supports.
Completely irrelevant.
I don't care about his name. I don't care. You can call him Fluffaluffagus. You can call him Poop. I don't care what you call God.
Because here's the thing.
The Christian God of the Bible supports slavery. Yes or no?
That's okay. Watch this. So now you're not answering
does the Christian
No, you're not asking.
It's what his name is irrelevant to the discussion.
It is completely relevant because how is
God?
Judaism and you go to these other religions, you recognize that God is subjective. You have to recognize that universally God is us. Correct?
I have no clue what you're talking about now.
Okay, so you have.
How does God's name? How is God's name? Hold on, Zyron. How is the name of God relevant to whether God supports slavery or not?
Because if we're simply talking about the Christian God,
oh my fucking God!
No, and now you're trying.
We're talking. Yes, again, we are talking about the Christian God. I don't know why you're so confused about this.
I'm not confused.
Why do you keep why do you keep trying to confirm that we're talking about the Christian God? Like you're.
I'm
trying
not
to
confirming that we're talking about the Christian God because
what are you talking about here?
Because your question.
Can you just get to the argument? Refute it.
You have to be very specific. If you're saying
Zyron,
yes,
I'm making a statement. I'm making the claim that the Christian God supports slavery. Now refute that.
Okay. Well, I won't.
Why not?
I won't.
Why not?
The Christian God supports slavery.
You agree?
I agree.
Okay, next one. GRape. Christian God supports GRape.
But here's the thing now. Here's the thing now.
Oh, yeah. This is
no.
You're the most frustrating person I've ever spoken with in my life. I'm about to lose my shit. If I continue talking with you, I'm going to lose my shit and embarrass myself in front of all these people. I'm literally about to lose my shit and embarrass myself in front of all these people. After all of that, he agrees at the very end there. After all of that, he agrees at the very end there. Jesus Christ. All right, guys, one more guest here, right? One more guest. Ugh.
All right, hello?
How old are you?
All right, that doesn't matter. But
all right, you got to be 18 plus. You got to be 18 plus. You got to be 18 plus, guys. You got to be 18 plus. Keep tapping the likes, everyone. Keep tapping the likes. Click the follow button, guys. Share the live. What's up, Demi? How you doing, Demi?
Yo.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. What about yourself?
I'm good. How old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay, what you got for us?
All right, let's start off with slavery.
Yeah, do you disagree that God supports slavery?
No, I do not, because this was the Bible.
It says join if you disagree.
I understand that, but I do disagree with all the other ones.
Okay, so as far as GRape goes, in Numbers 31, 17 through 18, God commanded the little young virgin girls to be captured and made into brides. They captured 16,000 virgins, and they actually gave 32 of them to God because God wants some of those young virgin girls. And in Deuteronomy 21, 10 through 14, God says you're allowed to capture a woman in time of battle. If you think she's beautiful, you can capture her and take her to your house and shave her head and go into her and make her your wife. None of that is consensual. That's literally kidnapping a woman and raping her.
Does anywhere you just said it just said you just said to capture her and that was it. None of
Yeah,
it you said.
capture her,
None of it you said to
capture her and
rape
go
her.
into her. Capture her and go into her and make her your wife. I'll read it to you if you want.
Go ahead from the start.
When you go out to battle against those who hate you, and the Lord your God gives them to you, and you see a beautiful woman and have a desire for her as a wife, bring her home to your house. There she will cut off all her hair and cut her nails and change her clothes she wore when you took her away. She will have sorrow for her father and mother for 1 month. After that, you may go into her and be her husband, and she shall be your wife. This is literally kidnapping a woman and going into her and forcing her to be your wife. This is kidnapping and rape. The woman does not consent to this. God supports this. Oh, he left. Ugh.
Yo, hello?
Guys, only send the guest request if you disagree, please. Only send the guest request if you disagree that the Christianity supports the following here. And please, you got to be 18 plus, guys. And please don't be driving. And this is gonna be the last guest here, guys. This is gonna be the last guest. I have to get going here. Yeah, get Theus Brooks in here, guys. Get him in here. Thank you for the crown. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks everyone for the gifts. Everyone appreciate you. And Seth, thank you for the $6.66 on Cash App. Seth, thank you so much, man.
Hello?
Hello. Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Do you disagree that Christianity supports the following here?
Yes and no.
That's a contradiction.
So everything you've listed has been in the Old Testament. Can you name anything that's been in the New Testament?
Slavery is in the New Testament.
Can you name the verse?
Yeah, Ephesians 6:5. Slaves, obey your earthly masters the same way you would obey Christ.
Now, what is your definition of slavery?
Being owned as property for life.
Property of life. For
being
life?
Owned, yeah, being owned as property for life, forever.
Okay, now slavery, I think when you think of slavery, I think you're thinking of like modern day slavery. The slavery
like the American South slavery?
Kind of like that. Goes a little bit before that as well.
Well, let me ask you this: were the American South slaves, were they owned for life and were they beaten?
They were beaten, yes.
And were they owned for life?
Yes.
So the foreign slaves in the Bible, the non-Israelites that God told the Israelites they could have, he said that you're allowed to own them for life and you can beat them.
Well, you can't kill a slave, but the punishment back in the day, the punishment back in the day, early on, in old times, it was more like acceptable not to beat, but like that was really the punishment, was really like physically.
There is no punishment for beating your slave if the slave does not die.
No, that's what it says in the Bible. Yes.
Yeah, so like the American South slaves were owned for life and they were beaten. The non-Israelite slaves were owned for life and they were beaten. It's the same thing. God supports slavery. That's my position. Can you refute that?
But I'm saying that didn't happen in the New Testament.
It doesn't matter. God supports slavery because does your God ever change?
No. Hold on. First of all, Jesus came in the New Testament. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. And when so I go over the New Testament. First of all the Old Testament is bullshit.
I don't care whether you follow it or not. The argument is that God in the Old Testament supports slavery.
The argument is you can't name anything on rape or murder in the New Testament.
Is Jesus God?
Yes, Jesus is God.
If Jesus is God, that means he's the God of the entire Bible, correct?
He is because he doesn't have anything to do with before him.
So like
that's the Old Testament.
So in Genesis 1:1, the very first verse of the Bible, Genesis 1:1, it says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens."
That's false.
You don't believe that
I believe the Old Testament has been. I believe all the scriptures in the Old Testament, that is all bullshit and it's been messed with.
So then Jesus never fulfilled any of the Old Testament prophecies.
Jesus, he didn't. There was people that said that spoke on the Son of God, but he came in the New Testament.
Did Jesus fulfill all of the Old Testament prophecies?
What are the prophecies that he fulfilled?
I don't think Jesus fulfilled any of them, but do you think he did?
I don't think he had anything to really do with the. I don't know if he had anything to do with the Old Testament. I just know from the New Testament, there's nothing about rape or murder, and the slavery that it talks about was different.
But we're not talking about like Old Testament or New Testament. We're talking about God, whether God supports these things.
Okay, but I think Jesus is God, and Jesus doesn't support this.
Well, if Jesus is God, then he's the God of the entire Bible.
But no, because there's different trinities.
What?
But that's like a whole different.
You don't believe
there's three different trinities. No,
you don't
I
believe the Old
there's
Testament.
Jesus, the Holy Spirit.
You don't believe the Old Testament, right?
I don't really.
There's a bad delay.
No,
There's a bad delay.
I believe.
You don't know what the fuck you believe. There's a bad delay between us. There's like a 5-second delay between us. Bro doesn't know what the fuck he believes.
Oh, you're gonna get rid of me fast.
Do you disagree that Christianity supports the following here?
Why do you look miserable, bro?
I'm not miserable. I'm happy.
No, you're not. You're miserable. You hate yourself.
Did you just come here to cry?
I love myself. I'm your God. How about that?
Tiny violins in the chat
I'm your
for
Lord, bro.
Tiny violins in the chat for the crybaby.
Would you unalive yourself for me? No.
Hold on, let me look at your bio.
Go ahead.
Jesus Christ superstar.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's real
Your
Christian
Lord.
of you, sir.
Your Lord. How does
everyone,
he come
everyone,
back, Mr.
everyone report
Know-it-all?
this guy.
How does he come back, Mr. Know-it-all? How
Everyone
does he
report
come
this
back?
guy.
How does he come back? Answer me.
How does who come back?
Jesus, dumbass.
Prove it. Prove that he came back.
Right now, you're talking to him.
You're
What's
Jesus?
Your problem? Yeah, I love you. Would you unalive yourself for me?
Oh my god, this dude's a fucking
Fuck
schizo.
you, mother.
Oh, that guy belongs in a padded room. That dude seriously belongs in a padded room. Wow. Hello?
Hello?
Hold on, you gotta be 18 plus, please. Gotta be 18 plus, guys. I guess I'm gonna take one. Let me get one more guest in here, guys. Let me get one more guest in here. I have to get going here, though.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm good. Basically, I'm not Christian, yeah, but I
I'm just looking to speak with Christians, man. Just looking to speak with Christians. Last guest, guys. This is gonna be the last guest, whether they connect or not. This is gonna be the last guest. We'll see if they connect. Hello. Hello, Grace. Grace. All right, guys. I gotta get going, anyways. I've been live for almost 3 hours now. Almost 3 hours. Is Justin live right now? Do a Justin raid. Everyone go raid Justin. Deconstruction Zone Justin. I'm sure you guys all follow him, but let's all go over there and raid him. Oh, he's on YouTube. Wait, he's not live. Oh, he's live on YouTube. I don't know if you guys follow Justin on YouTube. Oh, he's in the comments. Not till 6. Yeah, I didn't think you were live until 6 o'clock. But anyways, guys, I appreciate all you guys being here. Thanks for hanging out with me today. This has been really fun. Everyone follow, guys. Please click the follow button. Go follow Deconstruction Zone. Follow Justin, guys. I'm sure everyone here probably pretty much already follows him. Everyone follow each other, guys. Oh, somebody, I think that was Demi, said let me up. Let's see what Demi has to say really quick.
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, man?
I know you're kind of stressed for time, so I'll make it short, sweet, and
Thank you for the crown, Justin. Thank you.
Our next live, I've actually got a great topic and wanted to see if you're willing to push it or if you want to stick with this one. Will Christians end up in Allah's hell for following the wrong prophet? And will Muslims end up in Christian hell for not following Jesus?
So run like a sort of like a Pascal's wager kind of live.
Yeah. Essentially, if they both fall from they're both part of the Abrahamic faith, but
Yeah.
follow two different gods, two different books, and two different messiahs, is it safe to say that none of them will end up in heaven and could end up in each other's hell?
They could all end up in the crockpot heaven, crockpot hell.
Yeah, crockpot hell. There you go.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I'm down.
Are you going live tomorrow?
Yeah, I planned on it. Yeah.
Roger that. Count me in.
Tomorrow's my last day off. I got to go back to work Sunday, or let's see. I got to go back to work Sunday morning at 5 a.m.
I'm Eastern Standard Time, so what time do you want to start our live tomorrow?
I'm not really sure. I'll message you. I'll message you on TikTok.
Copy.
I'm not sure.
I'm heading over to Justin's as soon as he fires it up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go over there and watch them too.
Sounds good, buddy. What a great live today, man. You fucking killed it. I love it. Your
man.
highest point was like almost 700 people.
Yeah, I had a really good one yesterday too. Yesterday was like 800, I think, up to like 800 something. But yeah, it was really good live. I'm glad I got some views in here.
That's what's up. Well, I'll see you. Get in touch with me over DMs, and we'll iron out the specifics for tomorrow's live.
All right, sounds good, man.
Sounds good, buddy. Talk to you soon.
All right, see you later, Demi. All right, guys, that's it. See you guys tomorrow. Me and Demi are going to be doing a co-host, I guess, on a little bit of a Pascal's wager type of live. We're going to hash it out. We'll see what the exact topic will be. Thank you, Queef Elizabeth. W Queef in the comments, guys. Guys, everyone, please go subscribe to my YouTube. Everyone here right now, if you've enjoyed this live stream, if you support me, if you like my content, please go subscribe to my YouTube. Just click the little YouTube button in my link. The link is in my bio. Just click the little YouTube button. It'll take you straight there. If you have the YouTube app on your phone, it'll take you straight there. Please subscribe to my YouTube. I post all my full live streams on there, and if you guys are looking for something to listen to while you're driving or whether you're cooking or cleaning or working, I got all my live streams on there. Really, really entertaining live streams. I think they're pretty entertaining. Some pretty insane fucking guests. I get some wild fucking guests on here. Joel, are you still traveling, Joel? When are you going to go home, dude? Joel is like literally traveled all over the country right now, or like all over the world right now. I miss you, Joel. I wish you would start going live again. Joel, you are home. Okay, Joel's home. I'm glad you made it home safe, Joel. Glad you made it home safe, buddy. Everybody follow everyone. Everybody love everyone. Everybody have compassion for everyone. Be compassionate. And guys, please don't donate any money to Trump. Trump got convicted yesterday and his donation website crashed because he was getting so many donations. He was getting so many donations that his donation website crashed. Imagine donating to a billionaire. Who in their right fucking mind would donate money to a billionaire? Don't give your money to a billionaire. Give your money to like small TikTok creators like me and like homeless shelters and like animal shelters and stuff like that. Don't give money to billionaires, guys, please. That's crazy. Fuck Joe Biden, fuck Donald Trump. Don't give any of them money and love one another, right? Love one another, guys. All right, guys, I'll see y'all later. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. If you think this has been blasphemy, I'm glad because this has been a blast for me, too. Had a lot of fun.